All right, mic check, mic check. One Masters podcast. Y'all was made, of course. I got a special guest across from me, man. Very, very popular guest. Okay, I got the Car Baddie, Miss Layla Scott. How you doing?
Hello, how are
Let's
you?
clap it up for you. All right, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. All right, how you been? What's your day been like today, man? How you been?
I had a long day.
Hey, what time you wake up?
Uh, Before 8:30, I try to beat my alarm every day, 7 days a week.
Oh wow, 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days.
Real quick, we're gonna get into something. I'm gonna kind of flip back to it, but I do want to. So the Car Baddie. Let's start with there first. Let's just start with that, right?
Okay.
Like, tell me where that name derived from, and then what it mean to you.
Okay, originally I was the Car Barbie.
Why Barbie?
Um,
Oh, this is
well, I'm a
good.
Nicki fan.
This is good. This is
so I've
good.
been a Barb all my life.
Okay.
So like the Barbie identity has always been there. So I was like, okay, I'm the Car Barbie. But I wanted to kind of branch away from that name because, it's Mattel. Barbie is already its own household name. So one of my followers suggested I change it to the Car Baddie. And so I ended up changing it. I actually wrote them when I changed it as well.
Okay, the Car Baddie.
Yes.
All right, so now tell me what the baddie part came from, like between the two. But yeah, I'm asking all
Because
the questions today. I'm asking you all of them, definitely.
Because stereotypically, if you say there's a woman that works on a car, they always assume like I'm a heavier, stocky white girl. Like I'm so serious. Everyone has that image. And so when they see me, they're like, oh, there's no way she works on cars. So that's kind of how the baddie kind of fits. Because it's not your traditional woman that you would think works on cars, even
I
though
got
that's
you.
rare in itself.
I do love that answer. But I'm gonna answer just a more direct answer real quick, right?
Okay.
So it is Miss Layla Sky a baddie?
Of course.
There we go. Okay, clap it up for you real quick. You know what I'm saying? Clap it up for you. All right, clap it up. Clap it up. So with the name, all right. So would you classify yourself as a mechanic? Is that what you go by? I know what you on social media is your name, but like when you
That's
say your
more of
occupation,
I would say that's more of a layman's term because universally people use mechanic for anything automotive related. But technically, like I'm more of a technician. Like I do electrical, I do diagnostics, which that will fall under diagnostic tech. Like your mechanic is usually your hands-on mechanical like repair person. So I even do interior. Like I can detail very, very well. So throughout my car dealer career, everything I touched would look like brand new. So I have a lot of hats. Like I even do paint and body as well, especially factory. So
see, I didn't know that was even a difference. There was a difference between like a mechanic and then a technician or nothing like that,
yeah,
right?
it
Like
is.
I'm thinking that if this is me, a person who don't work on cars. I'm thinking that if you work on cars, you're just a mechanic. They say call your mechanic, call your mechanic. I never heard call your technician. You know what I'm saying? So that makes
Yes,
sense.
it's a difference. And even that's why I try to tell people, everyone who's a mechanic, that they can work on their hands with their hands, mechanically repair a vehicle. That doesn't mean they're a diagnostic tech, which actually specializes in diagnosing vehicles. So when you take your mechanic / diagnostic tech, like to come look at a car with you,
Yeah.
you want to make sure they actually know how to diagnose, not they're more well versed in let me replace your alternator.
Got
It's a
you,
difference.
got you. We'll get into that a little bit later. I do want to say, yeah, I think people watching, I did this on purpose. The first, 4 minutes in now, something like that. They obviously, I'm pretty sure nobody thought you were gonna be a technician, quote unquote, / mechanic, car baddie. That's not what they thought, So clap it up for you for even coming on the podcast and able to talk to me about this. So I want to kind of go back a little bit. So I told you off air. You got a country accent to me, okay? So you do have a country accent. It's cool though.
New York.
Relax. You got a country accent. So talk about like where you from, where you grew up at. Is it Augusta, Georgia?
Yes, I'm born and raised in Augusta.
Okay, I'll clap it up for you. A little something, something.
Shout out 706.
Real quick. All right. What
But,
part? Hephzibah?
Yeah, I've always been kind of in the Hetzler area, not going like towards the post office before. So
Why you said that? What's the difference?
because like if you go towards the post office, you'll see the Hetzler city limit. So even though it's addressed as Hetzler, it's not really Hetzler. Because the city limit is farther down Highway 88.
Okay. So describe to me like what it's like growing up in Hephzibah. What was it like?
I mean,
Ain't nothing really out there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just, everything is country, quote unquote, to anybody that's not from the South. But then I look at like Augusta, and it's even though to the naked eye, somebody from Atlanta, somebody from New York, California, Florida, whatever, it might be quote unquote country.
Yeah.
But when you go to Rennes or when you go to Hefzibah,
No, that's the real country to me. Anywhere Hep McBean.
McBean is in Hefzibah too, though.
But I'm saying it's a difference.
Okay.
Like it's not, even though it's technically Hepzibah, the area I'm from, the real Hepzibah is out going to Hepzibah High School type thing.
So this like get somebody kind of a depiction of it. Like what is it? Is it farms? Is it animals?
No, it's not farms and animals. Like on our main street, I have an AutoZone, I have an O'Reilly's, I have an Advance, all in one. You have McDonald's, you have Sonic. You have a lot of things. Like you really don't have to leave. Like Tobacco Road area, you don't have to leave.
Okay.
So.
I asked it because I know, like, I know I joke about this, but you are a popular figure, especially online. I use that term loosely, not popular in the sense of like, in a negative way. Just you have a lot of followers, you have a big following. So people that's going to watch this that know of you, they not necessarily going to be from Georgia or some from America. Some going to be from somewhere else. So I want them to get a kind of a groove of who you are, and then kind of I think sometimes people knowing you kind of answers their why as to why would someone like that looks like this ends up in this field. Well, look where I'm from, look what I do, what I came up around.
Right.
So talk about a little about that. Like you got siblings, you grew with your mom, dad. Like what was your household like coming up?
I mean, I grew up in a 2-parent married household.
Okay.
I have an older brother, a younger brother, and I actually have an older sister. She's pretty much lived like up north like her whole life, and then I have a younger sister. So, like, she's my older sister. She's more corporate America.
Okay.
My younger sister graduated from Mercer with 2 degrees. She went the educational route. My little brother, he does his thing with cars as well. He's in the automotive field, and like my dad, paint and body legend. As a matter of fact, someone just called from, I think they're out in the islands, and he painted their car in high school, and he kind of blew up as an artist, and now I think he's into investing or whatever. So I just had that experience too, not too long ago. So yeah.
About your mom?
My mom, she's, how do I explain my mom? She went the educational route. She's more of like a leadership role as far as like management or supervisor. That's her type of thing. Yeah.
Well, let me get a little deeper. What's your relationship like with your mom and your dad? 'Cause like, are you a daddy's girl? Are you mama's girl?
I'm pretty much a daddy's girl. I think that just comes from like being around him, even just in a younger age, because he was always into trades. So like while my mom was, in the working world, I could come to his paint and body shop when I got out of school. So
when you say trade, I know I do work in the automotive field right now, but I know management. I don't know all that stuff right now, right? So when you speak on something, I don't know what you're saying. So what's trade? What does that mean?
Like he's always owned his own business. He's always like from
work for self.
Yeah, okay. He knows how to tint windows. He had a detailing business and then went to paint the body. So yes, he's always done that. So I pretty much grew up kind of around in his shop.
So real quick, on your dad, because you said he's a legend. And I remember being at work one day trying to get somebody to see if they knew who you were after I recorded you with Q on her podcast.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I don't know. She on Instagram. She go by Car. I don't know how to describe. I'm just like, she go by Car Baddie. I don't know what else to say. But it's funny because the guy was like, oh, brown skin girl. Like, yeah. Her dad is such and such. I'm like, I don't know her dad, but everybody they knew your dad.
Yeah,
so your dad is pretty much known around here, right?
Yeah.
So how was that like growing up?
That's how I have like a lot of older connections. I would say I think that comes out. That's why I always say I'm an old school mechanic, new school technician, because I'm around a lot of his friends as well. Yeah. So I would say that.
Even younger.
Yeah, even younger. Like it's people that he's painted their cars. I've had like a relationship with even as a kid. Like I could think of one that he painted this nice orange. I want to say it was two-tone, if I can remember, because I'm really, really young. His name was Desi. Rest in peace, Desi. But I used to hound him about smoking all the time as a kid. Like, you're not supposed to smoke. You need to throw it away. Dare program type thing, even though he's really older. So I've always been around like older people.
That's funny. So even as a younger version of you, like you were younger as a kid, you did you admire what your dad was doing? Did you look at it any kind of way? And I asked this: you go to class or you go to school. We in the South, might be a little different, but you go to school, you got a career there, you got all this stuff. Was that ever something you was like, my dad paints cars, or my dad, like, what did you call what your dad was when you was little? And did you champion it? Where like, did you look down upon it? Like, what was the vibe from you as a kid?
Because I was so young, like I would see his body of work, and he's known for custom, like flip flop candy before candy was really a thing. And I'm not talking about just a little candy raisin. I mean the true candy. And all I knew was that these were very, very, very nice cars, and it was a lengthy process. But even back then, I could always remember the smell of Bondo, but now I know what it actually is. Or I remember him using grinders and seeing sparks flying, but now I know exactly what he was doing. So I think back then I'm just a kid in the shop, but now I think I have more of a respect for it because I've had my hands in those sort of things.
Yeah, I asked that question because I always try to get perspective on a podcast as well through people's stories. So through your story, I can give perspective there. And I would wonder, me as a kid, like if that's something like, when you're younger, your dad played basketball. My dad played basketball. You big about it. You're younger, your dad, I don't know, he runs a store. My dad runs a store. There's just so many professions we think about with our parents that kids are just jumping to say. And I wonder, like, with your dad being, I'm gonna just say mechanic for better words. I don't know what you would call it, but having all these trades. Trading today ain't trading what it was back then. As far as like when you talk about it to people. Like electrician today, we like, oh, electrician, what you do? I don't know if we talked about it that way when we was younger because we didn't know what they made, what they did. It wasn't like sexy on the eyes of the young kids, something like that. So did you always look at it the same way you look at it now, or you kind of got a different view of it?
So, we're in the South. So I remember when big rims was a thing, paint was a thing. So no, it was more of a respect for that because, in the South, like our cars are everything.
That makes sense.
Like we used to be doing spinners, 24, like that sort of thing. So Cutlass, Monte Carlos, Elcos. So even back then, I had kids who kind of, their dad was kind of into that type of thing. So it wasn't just so foreign.
Got you.
Yeah.
So it was something that you kind of championed at that time. Like you always felt the same way you felt about it now. Like it wasn't like you don't have a newfound respect for it. It's like you've always respected it.
Yeah, I've always respected it.
Okay.
I don't think I've had that many conversations like with kids. I wasn't that talkative back then. But yeah, it was always like a respect sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. All right. So how were you as a kid? How was you when you were younger?
I was pretty much like reserved to myself, but I was kind of like a tomboy. Like my interactions, like I can throw a football. Like I played baseball, kickball. Like that was like when recess came, I knew what I was doing. I really wasn't with the girls like doing their thing. And sometimes that used to cause friction. Like I don't know. I don't know. They used to have resent a little bit over that. Just
No, what about it? What was the issue?
I don't know. Maybe it's because the guys that they liked, and I'm not even thinking on anything. I'm like, hey, we're just gonna play baseball today. I had 2 mitts.
Yeah. So you was one of the bros.
Yeah, I've always been one of the bros. So serious.
Okay. So in school you kind of tomboyish. You played sports. Wasn't really a quote unquote, I guess, girly's girl, so to speak. Right. What did your parents or your mom think of that? I'm gonna ask about that because you do this sometimes. You talk about your mom, but you kind of talk vaguely about it. I'm gonna get it out of you. What your mom thought about it today?
I mean, I don't think she really even thought anything of it, but she's definitely a girly girl.
Did she ever try like to get you to be a girly girl or try to like do girly girl things with you, or you
I mean, I have a balance. Like I still do. Like even now, I work on cars, but I'm a big skincare junkie. Like
yeah.
So it was kind of like a balance. I went through a phase where I used to dress up all the time, so it was kind of half and half.
So what about your mom? Like tell me about your relationship a little bit. Like your dad, you could. If I'm being serious. When your dad, you could talk for days. Like you talk for days. That's one thing I remember about the Q podcast. I said, damn, she ain't spend too much time, but she had to get to her questions. So what about your mom? Like give me this. Give me your best memory of your mom when you were younger. Like what's your best memory of your mom? When y'all did something
I just
together?
remember like when she was younger, she was a model, like out
for
in
real?
Dallas. So like our memories, like that means we're in the store. Like if we go to the mall, we're gonna shopping. I know it's gonna take all day. If we go to the grocery store, I know we're gonna be there all day. So if I'm with my mom, that means you might as well anything you thought you were gonna do, you're not gonna do it.
So she was a model.
Yes.
Why she stopped?
Why did she stop? I don't know. Maybe because she had my oldest brother. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
So
that's how she met my dad.
She's from Augusta too?
Yeah, she's actually from Augusta, even though she was mainly based out of Dallas.
Okay. So your mom from Augusta, your dad from Augusta as well?
No, he's from Miami.
He's from Miami.
Yeah, Miami, Florida.
Okay. All right. So, what about the sister that is a teacher?
No, she's not the one that's in corporate world.
Yeah,
Or the
I'm sorry,
one?
no, not the oldest one. The youngest, the Mercer, 2 degrees.
Oh, the one with the 2 degrees from Mercer.
Yeah, 2 degrees shorty. I'm sorry. Yeah, her.
Yeah.
What's your mom and her relationship like?
I think my sister, she stays to herself anyway, but I think they have a good relationship. But my sister, she does her own thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Like in household wise, like what's your role like of the siblings? Every sibling got a role. What's your role in siblings? Like, are you the annoying sibling, the cool sibling?
I'm the house secretary.
The house secretary.
I'm the house secretary.
Is that self-appointed, or did you give yourself that role, or they gave it to you?
I feel like it just happened because I need everything to run smoothly. So yeah, I'm the house secretary, right? So that's what's going on.
All right. So when as you get older, you start playing sports, and at what point do you, like, even in middle school, high school, like are you still tomboyish at the time, or you kind of drew back?
Like in high school?
Yeah.
In high school, because I went to A.R. Johnson first, like they weren't really any sports besides like volleyball, which I played briefly because it's on the same coordination as basketball. So I didn't do any sports.
I'm sorry. Hold up. You could hoop? You could play ball?
Yeah, I used to.
No, can you play though?
I wouldn't say I played when I was younger. I can't really judge that.
Were you nice then?
I think I was nice. I'm one of those lockdown players. Like, I'm gonna make you turn the ball over.
Oh, you play defense.
Oh yeah.
Were you fouling though? Like, were you playing good?
No. I'm not gonna foul like that either. So you don't have to worry about me falling out.
All right.
And I shoot perfect free throws. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, here we go. So game on the line, free throw, give you the ball.
Oh yeah, because girls have like more set up mechanics for shooting. Like, if you look at a girl, they probably gonna step in and line their shot up all the way. Like, girls have a certain shot, but it'll be perfect all the time.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna go with what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying.
I just start watching girls play like a lot more now. They to me it's way more entertaining like in today's game than it used to be. But
yeah,
I respect girls playing basketball. I respect the sport, just in girls general though. I asked about that because you said with the A.L. Johnson. What made you go there? I'm just curious. Is that one of the schools you have to take a test to go to?
Yes.
So that was not. It wasn't forced. I want to start there. Right?
I took the test to go to the school, but I hated it. And that was like the most miserable 3 years of my life.
Wow. Okay. Before you tell me about the why, but like why you wanted to go there? Like,
I didn't want to go there. It was pretty much my middle school. I've always had good grades, and it was like, oh, you should test for this school. So of course my mom was all ecstatic, like, oh, we're gonna test for this, do the test, and they're like, oh, you've been accepted in this, and I'm like, okay, hated it.
Why you ain't flunk it?
I tried, and I still couldn't.
Oh, you that smart? Okay, I like that. You so smart. You tried to flunk the test, and you couldn't flunk the test. I like that.
I couldn't. Like, I didn't want to do my work, but for some reason, I could not do anything but testing. Especially, don't give me 4 questions. I don't care if I didn't study. I'm gonna pass every time.
So a 4-question test, you're gonna pass?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I test very well.
Okay, we gonna. I'm not today, but at some point, I'm gonna test that theory. Not today though. But tell me, like you said, you went to A.R. Johnson. Anybody that's watching that's not from here, A.R. Johnson will be what considered
it's a magnet school.
Magnet school.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, it's a gifted school.
It's for health science and engineering. And
you gotta be smart as hell to be in school, right? Supposed to be smart as hell.
Yeah, because that could be very subjective.
Definitely. Testing wise, you gotta be smart as hell.
Right.
Okay. So tell me about your time at A.R. Johnson. I've never talked to somebody with A.R. Johnson in my life.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much miserable. I'm just not even gonna lie.
They don't accept people that play sports, or they don't like?
No, it's not. It's not even that. Like, I was dealing with like a different vibe, different personality, like than I'm used to. So I don't really feel like I vibed too well with a lot of people. I really didn't say too much there either. But as far as commonalities, I don't think I was that relatable.
Because I don't know what kind of students are there. What kind of students are at Johnson? Are they nerds? Is it privileged kids? Is it entitled kids?
I would say yes, you have the nerds, but you also have kids that do come from pretty nice backgrounds.
Okay. Do they feel
too.
entitled?
Entitled? I wouldn't say entitled. I don't think they were snobby or entitled or anything like that. But I just feel like it was still like a different type of world type thing.
Versus what? Where you went? You went Hesper Middle School or something?
I know I went to Morgan Road and I was zoned for Butler.
Okay. Why you didn't go? Well, I'm not gonna get into that.
I'm glad I didn't go there though.
You glad you didn't go to Butler?
Yeah, their homecoming kind of sucks. Compared to Laney, where I graduated, I'm so glad I didn't graduate from Butler. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. Not Butler shaming on the pod, bro. All right.
I mean, but their boys did good this year. Didn't they win the championship?
Yeah, they won.
See?
Yeah, they won. That was a horrible clap, by the way. It's all good.
I mean, I'm not gonna go ecstatic. I was graduating from Laney. But
Yeah. So tell me about that. Like, so you switched from A.R. Johnson, but why? Like, what made you go to Laney? And how long you did Laney?
So I went to Laney my last year because I was always into band. So I think I started in Augusta Angels, which was like, they had a little band units, but I wanted to do band, like real band.
Yeah.
So I went there and I was a majorette. But I also was in like a lot of different activities. I was in the Spanish club. I did chorus style band. What else did I do? Yeah, I did like
This stuff not conflict of interest. I be doing all these clubs at one time.
Not really, because especially with Spanish, I had such a good Spanish teacher at Air Johnson. When I got to Spanish at Laney, it was just like it was such a bore.
So you can speak Spanish.
I speak a lot of Spanish, not as much as I used to, but like when I was in Florida, I used to use it so much to the point it was just.
You said when you was in Florida. When was this?
Yeah, I want to say. Let's see, when did I go to Florida?
And how long were you there?
Oh, I used to, when I got hooked on Miami, like I would end up spending like 6 months out of the year or more in South Florida. That was like a second home.
As an adult, though?
Yeah, like maybe
okay,
23, 22.
Okay. I was just wanting to make sure it wasn't when you were younger. I'm like, how you had time to do that? Okay, so
yeah,
as you got older. Okay, but so when you left A.R. Johnson, so you said when you were younger that you were more to yourself. At what point did this change? Like you start being to yourself. When did you start being more open and more talkative, more outgoing?
Well, I think I became more talkative like in the 11th grade. Because I think if you don't say anything, or people just will assume either you're mean, you're stuck up, or you're like a pushover, or they can get away with anything. Mm-hmm. So, back in like high school, how you had the boys who like to, like jive, Joan, whatever you call it. And so like there's one, and he was younger than me too. So I guess he just called himself trying to Joan with me. And then I just started flaming him like head to toe, just, and everybody was like, since when did she say anything? And everybody just, I know he was embarrassed because everybody was like laughing because I'm actually very, very good at it. And so from that moment on, like I was a little bit more talkative.
So
I would say.
First of all, I'm clapping up for you because I ain't had to pull it out of you. Thank God. I heard this story before, so I wanted to say it again, of course. So you had an experience with someone where I guess they were trying to play you at some whatever, right? If you flip the script, rather, you joked on them, lamed them out, whatever, and then from there you start to talk more, right? What about that day made you feel like, I could talk? I could just start talking now. Like, what about that day?
Because I was pretty much like, well, it doesn't matter if you're quiet. And so it was just so funny to me. I was like, I'm going to just start roasting people from now on. So,
yeah. And you just didn't stop. You don't stop now. You just keep going.
That'll make people cry and everything. But that's only if you start with me. Like, I'm not just going to pick somebody out and then just start roasting. But if you try, I feel like it's limitless.
So, I know I told you before, but like, you said that only if they start with you. Now I have seen some time on social media where you'll just go on something like, it's not a roasting thing, but to me it's all in the same arena, same field. And of course I go to the same way I went to him before. And shout out to my guy because he do watch the podcast here and there. He might watch this because you on it. But he posted something. Now we spoke about this before though. He posted something, and I think it was more for him, but I guess he was reflecting on some mistakes or mishaps he done in his life with his previous partner or whatever, right? I'm only assuming, I don't know. And I remember as I seen it, later on I come back to us, I always come back to stuff. I'm like, somebody gonna say something. and boy, it was you. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And you were just so relentless, just like, oh, I'm so glad she did this. I hope she, it was just like, you just like was stomping on him a little bit. I'm like,
I feel like he deserved it.
yeah, he wasn't bothering you though. That's one person that wasn't
Oh,
bothering you.
but see, one thing about it, I do not like people who wrong women, especially women that were good to them. And then the best you can show us is you like publicly embarrassing them, basically telling the world that they allowed you to, cheat on them, wrong them, and they still showed kindness to you. And now you're just gonna embarrass them for the world and be like, please take me back. Let me tell everybody the things I've done to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really thought that was like really pathetic of him.
Yeah,
So I hope he cried that night.
You made it. I don't know, but
I hope he cried that night.
You definitely made it very known. But I've seen. I mean, that's just one thing. I've seen a lot. Of course, I ain't gonna bring all of them up. It's not important. But it was a point where, like, until I met you at Q's when we did our podcast, I couldn't match the voice with the words, right? And that's a big deal, matching the voice with the word, because as I read this stuff, I think over the time I had always been. I never met you. I just see a picture, I didn't do my research, didn't know you. So I see the picture, and it seemed like a nice person, But then I'm like, I can kind of see a dark side to it, ain't no telling, right? And I'm seeing the word, I'm like, okay, this is straight dark. This is dark coffee, no cream, no sugars, right? And the stuff you would say, I'm reading it like, and my mom like, oh, you be killing people, don't get me wrong, like you go in, but I'm like, she's brutal. And then when I saw her, I'm like, hold on, she's kind of soft. Like she's not soft like a sucker, but soft voice. You know what I'm saying? Soft talking. Like you smile now, you laugh. Like you it's not what I thought. So I think now I might have been reading this stuff a little too harsh.
Yeah, it's my style of humor.
That's what it is.
I have a more serious style of humor.
I used to be like, bro, she's doing too much. But now I see you just joking. Like,
yeah,
so
while I'm
when
typing,
I see it
I'm
now,
like,
it's cool. I don't think you be laughing only, first of all. But I've seen you over the years get at with a bunch of people, and it's only men. I will say that I never see you argue with women. And I'm saying you don't. I ain't saying you don't. I never seen you argue with women.
The only time I would say I end up arguing with women is a guy will be getting roasted, and then they'll tag their girl. I'm like, please don't tag your woman. Please don't do it, because you're going to make me roast her. Like, don't do it.
Oh my
and then
God.
they tag her, and I'm like, I got to take her out now. I don't want to, but you force my hand.
Got to take her out is crazy.
Yeah, got to take her out.
Because you don't have to. You can leave her alone.
No, got to take her out.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so, but yeah, social media presence. And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like for a little while, I don't know how old you are or what age or what years it was, but it was like I feel like you got your identity now, and within the last year, some change, 2 years maybe. I don't know how long you've been doing the Car Baddie thing. Why? Why's that funny?
Because I feel like I can kind of agree with you, because I feel like now. Because I'm like doing my own thing as far as, if you do your own thing as far as skill, it really only matters how good you are. So if you're exceptional at what you do, it doesn't matter how you are, what you look like. They have to accept you because you're exceptional.
I like that.
So you don't have to fit a mold.
I like that. That was dope. I like that. That's how you said that was amazing too. And you use the hand and stuff. You getting good at this. Like you getting really good.
That's what you talking.
No, but in all seriousness, because I watch. Like I even though I might not speak to people all the time, because some people, and you one of them, I used to stay away from you. I'm like, nah, because she like to joke, I like to joke. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to end people, so I don't tell them, right? But I do watch from a distance, and just watching, whether it be I see you joking people 24/7, whether it be I always seen you talk about sports. I did always see that. That's one thing I can say. That's something you just woke up and started doing. You always talk about sports. Did I always believe that you knew what you're talking about? No, I'm not gonna lie at first, but we can tell later on. But as time going, as you speak now, I see it. Like it's authentic. Everything you're saying is authentic. Even this year, talking about the Lakers, I'm a Laker fan too, but it's authentic, So I did like that. But like I said, when you don't know a person, you kind of I'm just watching from a distance. But everything I always seen was like, she getting on this person. She getting on this person. Like if I type your name on my phone, I'm telling you, I probably got about a bunch of screenshots that you just like, it's just comments. I ain't gonna do it because that's not what we're here for. But it's I'm just telling you, like, just to see the growth, and then to see when you start doing the car stuff. At first, I was like, okay, where this come from? You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm like, bro, what?
How she just
Not so. And this is just me looking outside looking in because I don't know you. I'm like, oh boy, here goes somebody trying to do something because I don't know your background. I don't know that
right.
this is really home for you. This is what you know, right? I'm like, but I'm also knowing that it could be a transition from like whatever you did before. It could be a transition from you trying to pivot from being a jokester or I think the dancing or whatever, everything you were doing before. It could have been a pivot from that. And I was like, okay, well maybe that's what you're doing. But I just sit back, I watch, and as time went on, I seen that you would talk about things, and I'm watching the video. I'm like, okay, she knows what she's talking about. Not that I'm gonna know, but I'm saying like it's how you're speaking about it. It
Yeah.
lets me know that you know because you're speaking slow. You're not fumbling over words. You're not like trying to rush the process. And then I just seen gradually you kept doing it and you stay at it and the consistency. I'm like, okay, well, now it's like, 18 months, 24 months. I'm like, okay, well, hold on, she's still doing this. This is, you know? And so I say all that to say, I want to get into this now. Like making that transition and trying to find your niche on social media when you started to, well, let's come back. How did you say, okay, what about whatever you're doing now made you say, okay, I'm going to try my hand at touching, working, technician, mechanic, I don't know, on cars. And I'm going to start posting it online. Like what was that like? Because you did other stuff before that. So like take the other stuff out. What made you say, okay, cars it is, automotive it is?
Well, like my dad, maybe he was thinking about this. I have no clue, but he was out of nowhere. Was like, "Oh, you should start a car lot." I'm like, "Okay," and that's really all he said. So I had looked it up on Google. It gives you like these bullet point steps. It's before AI, and so I just followed all of the steps and went through the process. So then I was buying and selling cars, going to the dealer auction, and so that's how I started with diagnostics first because you have to know what you're getting. So I remember in the beginning, I used to diagnose cars like more purely off of codes, even though the Innova that I had at the time, if you clear the codes, it won't show you the codes. You'll still have engine data. So I started off diagnosing cars purely off of fuel trims. Like, okay, if I'm too lean, if I'm too rich, what does it sound like? What does it smell like? Certain
I'm
things.
sorry. I'm sorry. Real quick. You're doing amazing. What the fuck does none of that stuff mean? I'm sorry. You saying fuel trims? I know Nova because I sell Novas. I know that, but like
Yeah.
you just says rich. What does that mean? I don't know.
Okay, so the closer your car is to zero, and that's kind of perfect running. Closer you are to zero. It's kind of unrealistic to be completely zero because sometimes they'll go negative, maybe a point 0.8 or a positive 1.2.
Okay.
But
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna tell you.
Okay.
So positive numbers means you're lean. That means you don't have enough fuel. You have actually too much air in your air to fuel ratio, your air to fuel mixture. And so, the computer's trying to compensate by adding fuel, but it's saying, hey, I'm too lean. Negative numbers means you're too rich. That means you're dumping too much fuel.
Okay.
And so, depending on how lean or rich you are, that can determine like what's wrong with your car. It gives you like an insight. So, for example, if I have a V6, that means I have two different banks. That means I have a bank one, bank two, 3 cylinders on one side, 3 cylinders on the other. So if both of my banks are lean, that means it's something that has to affect both banks, like a faulty mass airflow. Or if they're too rich, then that means what can affect it has to be something that affects everything. Now,
Okay.
say I have one bank that's okay, and then I have one bank that's rich. Example of a problem: maybe I have a failed oxygen sensor, the first oxygen sensor that helps control the fuel delivery. Maybe I have an issue with that. That means I have something only dealing with one side, these 3 cylinders, not the whole thing. So that's how I was diagnosing cars in the beginning.
Okay.
So
Well, clap it
yeah,
up for you real quick. That was amazing information. First of all, and it's not foreign to me because I'm in that field
right.
now.
People have to
So
come
now it
in.
makes more sense. But I don't know that stuff. But the bank one, bank two, oxygen sensor. I know sometimes you got the different kinds. I like all that. So now I know who to talk to when I don't know what I'm
Oh
talking about.
yeah.
But with that being said, before you, even when your dad said, okay, you need to do this, you said, okay, you did your research and now you start diagnosing and stuff, right? Did you have any kind of clue about anything under the hood before then?
No, not at all. I couldn't even remove seats out of the car. So serious. Because one of the first things I started doing hands-on was interior. So, my dad, he had a detail business in the past. So he kind of already knew kind of what to do, but so he kind of showed me like how to do it, but I've developed like my own formula, my own ways that I like. So, once you learn how to take the seats out the car, and so it kind of grew from that. So I started with interior.
Okay.
So after interior, I starting to touch body work a little more. Like I got a Honda. You couldn't really tell it had hail damage because it wasn't shining. So my first body work was dings, little dings all over. I'd rather deal with one big dent than a million dings over the whole car. Like when I laid my first Bondo, mud, whatever you want to call it, I laid it like this thick. Like my dad had to cut it down with 40. Like, why you have it this high? So that's how I got into that.
Okay. So before then, so you would drive a car, right? So you know how to drive.
Yeah.
Were you the girl? Not girl. Were you the person? Because it don't matter. Girl, guys do it now too. I noticed that now. Were you the guy? Were you the person? Chill. Were you the person that was like driving and not checking their oil, or like driving like on E? I know my car, or like bald tires,
See, that's the thing, right?
high beams on because the low beams ain't working.
Because I traveled so much, I didn't get my license till I was 22. I flew everywhere and Uber because I was traveling to big cities. So
You was rich.
I wouldn't say that. I feel like I spent my money in certain places. I say that, like flights. Like I can tell you anything about how to get the best flight, and I Uber. So in big cities, like Uber was a big thing before it was something here in Augusta. Like you try to get an Uber in Augusta, no Uber's available, or they're gonna be extra expensive.
Yeah.
In Miami, I could go from let's go Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I could go all the way up to Pompano for like $15 at the time, $13. So I could travel. It was with ease, so I had no reason to get a license.
What were you doing for work at that time?
What, in Miami? Or
if it's something, I ain't trying to be funny. I'm asking because I'm not trying to be. I promise you, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm asking because I'm like, you're rich because you just traveling.
No,
I never heard somebody say I flew everywhere. I couldn't drive. I just flew everywhere. It's not really an option for some of us. Like either you got feet or you could drive. You know. Or you ain't got no pride, so you asking me for a ride. Like flying is not an option.
No, I'm gonna fly because, like, in my past, like, I was an exotic dancer. That's what I did.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But upscale.
I wasn't trying to get into that. I was just making sure.
No, I'm just saying. So, I always had money.
Okay.
Didn't drive, but had money.
And okay, so you make that flip. Okay. Now that makes sense of why you was flying everywhere. I was like, okay, flying, but yeah. Okay, I got you now. I got you. All right, 2 and 2 together.
Come on, you gotta travel everywhere you go. You you got a place everywhere you go. So it's like, why? So yeah.
So all right. So now when you come back home or whatever, I don't know why you stop whatever, but like you come back home whatever, you're doing the car stuff. So like how did you start to learn just the basics of cars under the hood, like? Because the stuff I can tell you can talk about stuff extensively because I'm gonna ask some stuff too, but like I'm just even for myself, I wonder like what are some basic things you learn first or you try to learn first where it's like it made it easier for you to learn as you went along.
But see, I got thrown into the fire, so I didn't really have an easy start.
Okay.
Because that same Honda that had hail damage ended up needing a transmission as well. It was a 2002 Honda Accord green. It was kind of Accord EX, so it had a sunroof, leather. Needed a transmission. Those are the bad transmission years. So that's when my dad was like, I'm not gonna do this. You're gonna do it. And I kind of laughed it off like stop playing with me. Because at the time he was doing the mechanical work. So I'm like, stop playing with me. And so he was legit, like really serious. So I have an uncle, I call him my rich uncle. So he has a shop with a lift. So we brought it there because it was a front wheel drive car. And I ended up having to do so many things for that one repair. 'Cause it's not like you just pull the transmission out and here it goes.
Yeah.
You had to remove the alternator. You had to remove the air box. You had to remove everything around it. And I even had to drop the whole subframe on this high lift. I don't know why I had it this high. It's heavy subframe with a rack and pin. So I had suspension parts in there too that I had to disassemble. So I pretty much
And you did this
Yes.
with our help.
So this is my help. Like my like my rich uncle, my uncle come in there, like my dad would be sitting in the chair. Like, so he really made me like do that.
It was purposeful. He did it on purpose to kind of get you to learn.
Yes, I like to tell myself that, but I'm like, or did you not want to tango with a front wheel drive transmission? Because till this day, he does not like front wheel drive transmissions. So I'm like, I think it was a little pint of each.
But you had to learn this stuff in order for you to drive the car because it was going to be a car for you.
No, I was gonna sell it. I was selling cars.
Got you. So you were trying to sell it, so you had to get it right.
Right.
Okay.
So ended up taking the transmission down. As a matter of fact, on my car page, my very first post is a picture with the lift, and I'm working. It's that car. So that's how I know how long I've been working on cars from that picture. So I should be about 4 years in.
Okay. Damn, time really flies. I'm thinking it's 2, it's 4.
And yeah, I've been working on cars for about 4 years. Well, since that transmission, I think it's been about 4.
Well, no, I just remember when you started to do that. Cause like I said, it was a transition. Like I said, you have your own things you're doing, and I think as you transition out of whatever you're doing in the past, you transition to like the car stuff. I just remember seeing it. Now I gotta ask this stuff because it's my own time probably gonna see you, but like you had to do that name the Car Baddie. But you started a Car Barbie, you said, or you started a Car Baddie? It was always
Yeah,
Car
I started
Baddie.
with the Car Barbie at first.
Okay, and that's because you were Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj, Nicki Lewinsky, Nicki the Ninja, Nicki the Boss, Nicki the Barbie.
All right,
Yeah.
Can write that down. It's gonna be a real. Okay, but moving on from that, like you also, I think, and this is me, it kind of, I would assume, it gained attention, and I think you kind of put both, whether your past stuff and your current stuff together, because not only were you working on cars, it was your attire while you were working on cars as well.
People think like it's crazy because I get, not so much now, but I used to get comments all the time like, oh, you're wearing this. And I'm like, no, it's hot. So I didn't take the traditional
we going with
route.
this hot thing, okay.
It was. I was living in Salvage, Georgia. What you gonna wear overalls and it's 98 degrees?
I just told you I wear Timbs in the summertime.
That's just New York. Y'all act like there's no other shoe. Y'all wear Tim's to the
Hold on.
beach.
All right, relax.
Y'all wear Tim's to the beach if y'all. Matter of fact, there's pictures of y'all with Tim's in the beach. So
Not me. That's funny as hell, though.
yeah, y'all act like concrete is everywhere.
But okay, so you saying that it was hot? That's why you
Yeah, you gotta
had the
think.
attire. You had
I didn't have I went to automotive technical school and then I went to go work for a shop or the dealer. So I didn't have to, wear the attire that they are used to. So I just like to be comfortable.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'll pull your engine in Crocs. I would rebuild it's not even an exaggeration. I've rebuilt engines in Crocs.
Well, I will say this too, and this is just we talk about it for a minute. We can stay on this for a minute. It's actually fine. This is interesting. I don't think I have a problem with you doing it in Crocs, right? But I do, or a problem at all. But I do think that as a marketing tool, I just thought it was genius. So hearing you saying like, well, it was just hot. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go with that if that's what you're saying. But I also feel like that's kind of like a good marketing tool.
I just like to be comfortable.
I mean, I'll say this. I never seen you, do your car work in a sweater or overall at all.
If it's cold.
I just ain't never seen it. But then again, like I said, it could have been something I ain't click on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That Corvette
Too much clothes.
reel.
It's probably like, oh, nah, I ain't clicking on it. So, you're not telling. But I did think at first, mind you, not now. I did think at first that it was like a transition, like a ploy. Like you, okay, maybe this not work. I'm gonna try this now. In my mind, like I said, I didn't know nothing about what you were doing, but I'm seeing that it's kind of similar to this. I'm like, okay, well, maybe she's just trying to make a transition. And it wasn't until, you start listening to the video, like, hold on, she really saying stuff about cars for real. Like this, it's not just, hey, look at me. And that's what I thought it was gonna be. Mind you, you see these reels, you see a picture. You know what I'm saying? It don't just play. It used to. Now I play like a little 3 second, but it's like,
Yeah, I remember autoplay came a thing.
yeah. So I never, and then now I'm saying, okay, well, now I'm seeing it. And then also seeing your following grow. And I'm looking at the comments as well. And you having some genuine arguments, but some genuine conversations about what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay, shit, this not for play. It's not like you ignoring it, the car talk.
Right.
You engaging like, come on, I want to talk about cars. So I'm like, okay, cool. I like that because to me that means that it's more than just, hey, I'm in not saying this is what you do, I don't know, but I'm in a sports bra and some short shorts, and this hood is up. The car hood is up. You know
But
what I'm
I've
saying?
seen that marketing tool be used though. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's so far fetched to think that because I see, women that, they do the car thing. I've never seen you like remove anything, but I've seen you. So I'm like, see, this is the reason why I get this. Like you are the reason.
That's funny. I never
So
seen you
yeah.
remove a car part.
So I'm like, you can't say I'm faking. I'm not faking lifting this huge cylinder head up.
Yeah,
Head
yeah.
bolts are hard. Like I don't care if you work out. It's a certain type of strength it takes to do that. Like certain muscles to do that.
I do want to ask this question though, because and talk and bring your mic a little closer to you, just a little bit, because you got comfortable now. Bring it a little bit more. Right there, good. And I want to ask this just because we talking about like, so okay, the idea of you, your attire might not have been okay. It's not a marketing employee. It's just this how I regularly look, or whatever, right? And also, it might have been whatever. It's the norm because maybe it's something you always did it. It's the past, like what you used to, you're accustomed to, and you bring it in. Okay, cool. Was that ever an issue for you when you started? Like, did you feel like because of how you dressed or how you looked or what people perceived of your appearance that they then kind of was already discrediting what you was talking about in the video?
I mean, they was gonna have to deal with it because I mean, from first glance, you can say, "Oh, she's just one of these women who just want to, use the car and the fact that they look like this for marketing, like you said."
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to deal with it because at the end of the day, like, no, you're gonna see me remove an engine. You're not gonna really just say, "Okay, I flat like the camera goes to a different clip and now the engine's out." You're gonna see me with the hoist. You're gonna see me remove the exhaust manifold. Like you're gonna see all of this. You're gonna see me lift a crankshaft out.
Yeah.
So like what's going on.
No, and I respect it. I'm gonna ask anyway, just because of me doing what I do. But I'm also, as you answer, I'm gonna tell you why I think what I think your answer is gonna be anyway. Why I think that. But so, like, even as you're working on cars, there's no point you like, okay. So you never like lay the outfit out and say, I'm gonna wear this tomorrow while I'm working on the car. Like, okay, I'm gonna come up tomorrow when I wear this and change this tire. Or I'm gonna come up tomorrow wear this and take this camshaft out. Like you never had that. It was
No,
never that.
I'm pretty much. I'm one of those people who've always lived in a crop top. Like if it's summertime, matter of fact, I can probably count how many summertime shirts that I have are full shirts. Like that's always been like my type of style, type of thing. So I might say, oh, all of this is black, or oh, I have on a burgundy shirt and the black shorts, and I got some black Nikes I'm working in today,
Yeah.
or something like that. But it's never as deep. Like I'm gonna plan this to be, not really.
You never, so you like, but I only asked that because the baddie part. When I seen the baddie part, I said, well, maybe the appearance has to be like, I have to look like a baddie because da 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 da. But I believe what you're saying, mainly because a couple reasons. One is because it is the South. You are countries, and that's pretty much how people dress anyway, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is, I listened to you talk about being younger and kind of being tomboyish and stuff like that. And I think if you take the horn dogness out of it, right? Like just take that a woman and like not a lot of clothes. Okay, take that out of it. I don't think your appeal is coming like, hey, look at me. I don't think that's what you're giving when you are on camera. I really do think it's about the car.
Yeah, it really is. I think guys are more obsessed with the fact that I'm a woman working on cars than I am. Like they're like,
I don't know
oh, you're a woman working on cars, and and I'm just like, I have like a higher respect for people that I've had car conversations with, and they're unfazed, and I
Yeah.
can probably count on one hand how many times that's happened.
But like I said, for me, I think it's more so just knowing your stuff. I think once you know, like you said earlier, like being exceptional. That was a good part. You said it earlier about being exceptional. I think once you see somebody got exceptional work and exceptional level of knowledge about what they're talking about, everything's go out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be wearing dirty clothes for all I care. So you could be. I don't know, have a snot nose, whatever. I'm never gonna think about that if you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard to like be focused on like the extra stuff when somebody know what they're talking about. You just kind of focus on their knowledge. So I do think I do think that's the thing there. So when you online, right, and you post a video or whatever, like at first when you was doing it, 'cause I'm pretty sure everybody kind of know you now. You got a following, but at first when you was doing it, was there ever a battle for you to like argue with people in the comments about your appearance, your attire, what they thought, or did you just focus on people who wanted to have meaningful conversation about cars and you knew it and you knew they knew what they were talking about?
See, at first, I used to just only post videos, mainly on my story. I really wasn't even into reels, but you will only see my hands or what I'm working on, like the typical mechanic technician. Because usually I've talked to people for years and I've never seen their face if they're a technician. Like they never show their face. But I used to get into so many battles with people saying, "Oh, you didn't do that, you didn't," and that's how the reels were born. But even when you see my whole body, that's why I'll make sure to show my whole body and everything. People will still be like, "Oh, there's no way," or "Show us the man behind the work," and I'm like, "Be for real, like really?" So yeah, so depending on what you say, I probably will address you, and I think it's crazy that guys used to say, "This is a male-dominated industry. If you can't take the heat," and then after you roasting her, they're like, you get more flies with sugar than salt or vinegar. Like they'll be crying, and I'm like, is this the same male dominated industry you told me I wasn't tough enough for?
I do got a question
It's
now.
like,
Think about it. Oh, would you consider yourself argumentative?
How do you define argumentative?
Uh, somebody that be arguing a lot. I feel like if you argue on a regular basis, I guess.
I mean, if that's your definition, then yeah, probably yes.
I feel like it's yes, no matter the definition. But I do. I don't feel like it's always your fault. I don't think that. I will say this. I think that, and you let me know if I'm wrong. I think that you are more inclined to really go back and forth when you know you're right as well. Like I think people be wrong, and you know they're wrong, and I think you feel like it's my duty to tell you how wrong you are, and I'm gonna let you know with facts. I do like that. You don't get personal. It be facts.
Yeah, I like to use facts because if something is a fact, you can't really argue against it. Like I can use my own opinion as supporting details, but my basis, I like it to be based on a fact.
I feel like you'd be appalled when people challenge you sometimes. Like you'd be like, huh? Me? Are you talking to me? And then you feel like you gotta show them out.
And I'm just like, if you just say something like, well, hey, I mean, I welcome you to the debate. I mean, you're gonna lose, but because I don't like to be wrong, so I'm gonna look it up before I say anything. So I'm like, I mean, welcome to your own barbecue, but hey.
Yo, you gotta chill, man. I do got some car questions I want to ask you though. So like, and this is just more so for people that's watching that, because people they're not gonna believe it, whatever, right? But somebody come to you and say, hey, look, my air not working.
Your what?
My air. They come to you, hey, my air's not working. What's some things what's your next steps?
Is it not blowing or is it not cold?
It's not blowing.
Okay, well then that would leave me your blower motor could be out, or maybe your blower motor is on, but the doors are stuck closed. It could also be your switch because I've had those. The power from the switch, like if you touch it, my signal is not working. I've even had the resistors go bad.
The blower motor resistors.
Yeah, I've had those go bad. So it just
What if they
all
say?
depends.
What if they say that it's not that it's not blowing, but it's not cold?
So if it's blowing and then it's not cold, now you open the door for a lot of things. It could be, now I have to ask you, is it just room temperature or is it hot like you have the heat on?
Hot like I got the heat on.
That means your doors are stuck on hot.
What doors? See,
You have like your actuator, your blend doors. If they're stuck on hot, I don't care what you do, it's gonna only blow heat.
blend door actuator.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna blow heat.
This is random stuff now. It's not my car. I'm just random stuff.
No, I'm just saying, like I've done so many different ACs, especially as a car dealer.
Yeah.
I had one summer, every car was an AC car. Every single last one. So I've replaced every
It
single
get like that in the
component.
South, definitely.
Oh yeah, I've even had them go all the way back to the problem being in the ECU. So
But they say their car feel like it's pulling when it's driving. Like I feel like when I'm driving, my car is pulling.
like to one side or the other.
Nah, like resisting rather. Let's say I'm hitting the gas, but I feel like I gotta hit the gas more to go further.
Yeah, that means you could be suffering from a catalytic converter issue because you can hit the gas all you want to. If your car can't breathe, it's not going to let you accelerate. Then I'll ask them, is it more apparent when you're going up hills? Because your catalytic converter is failing, you're going to have problems going up hills, which that's a very popular thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Car's jerking. When I drive, my car is jerking.
Ooh, that could range to a lot of different things. I had that Honda that I did the transmission on. It would shift in the gear. When it finally shifted in the gear, it'd be extra hard. It was the torque converter or whatever was going on. I replaced the whole transmission. Or it could be jerking. It could be sputtering. Maybe you have an interruption in your fuel delivery, and it'll make your car jerk. Like it's so many different things.
What about if it turn off when you drive? Sometimes it just turn off. What about if you turn off when you're driving? Sometimes my car just turn off when it's driving.
You mean
Like
just
I'm
turn
driving,
over or turn
turn
off?
off. Like I'm driving, it just turn off.
You're saying off because you have a New York. You have a New York
Yeah,
accent.
off. Yeah, like OFF. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, if your
Excuse
car
me.
is just turning off when it's driving, I've had it be your alternator is shorted. I've had your alternator go out because when you start your car, you're on the no, you only use your battery to start the car. After that, it's running on the alternator. So I've had where the connector is shorted and that glitching connection is off, especially your battery's already dead. Because I've had that happen. I've had people's car turn off because it's about to seize. That's a very popular one. Like, they're like, I was driving and then the car cut off. And then I drove it some more and then the car off and then it come back on again. I'm like, I regret to inform you that, ma'am, you're locked.
And I had no questions. Like, that for me is just more so because I do try to illustrate that regardless of what we talk about, that you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because these are things that you're not gonna just make up on the fly. You know what I'm saying? That's why I asked some questions. So that's what that was for. It wasn't just me testing you, even though that was 4 things, but it's all good. You got 100 though, by the way. So A+ for you. Clap it up. Okay, real quick. All right, that's enough.
What, you have some notes on this?
I don't be playing around. I got my notes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Talk about the importance of some things. I'm gonna ask you for some things, and you tell me why it's important to get it. If it's not important to get it, how regular you should get it, and things like that. Let me start this camera over real quick. All right. Tune-ups.
Definitely important.
How often should somebody get that though? And why is it important? Like, tell anybody why it's important.
I would say tune-ups are more of a preventative maintenance. Because maybe every 60 to 100K miles. It depends on the vehicle too. Like if I know you're dealing with a GM, especially a 3.6, that have like oil consumption issues. A lot of times when you do your tune-up, I need you to change your PCV. I don't care, it's 60K to 100K miles. Yeah, your PCV is gonna have to come.
Okay.
I replaced the drive belt during tune-ups because even though I'm like, your drive belt is okay now, but they tend to dry rot and crack, and you don't want to be out of town. And now your drive belt pops, and you lose everything that's on the belt. That means no AC, no power steering, no alternator.
So that one belt controls all that stuff.
Depending how they set it up. Some cars have a single drive belt that controls everything. A lot of the older cars, especially older Hondas, they have a single belt for every single thing.
You know, some people, I work, I don't say it on camera, but people call the store like, hey, I need a belt for this. I don't be knowing this stuff, so I'm just kind of guiding, right? And they be like, I need a, I'm like, okay, sometimes some cars is an AC belt, and some cars like the belt is everything.
Yes.
So I say serpentine belt. No, I need this. I know this belt. I'm like, you pissing me off now. Cause I don't know what you want. Sometimes they don't know what they want. They don't know what kind of car they
I
got
know,
anyway.
like what is it on? Cause they'll say, this works the AC. This goes from crank AC. Like it'll say it.
Oil change. How important is that and why?
Very, 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 very. I changed my oil at 5K miles. If you change your oil at 5K miles, that means you're getting the best properties out your oil. You don't have to worry about it thinning. If you're having an oil loss issue, like leaks, you're not aware of, especially some cars, they have undercarriages that are covered. You don't have to worry about your oil is depleting and you do not know, because a lot of people, they don't pull their dipstick often. 10K mile interval, especially on these newer cars, is just a killer.
Does the oil filter really matter, or yes, no, not really?
Yes, it matters. Every time you change your oil, change your filter.
Yeah, that part, but I'm saying like the brand. Does the brand matter so much? Like, people like Wix, people like they don't like MicroGuard. It's too cheap, or they want mobile K&N. Like,
Depending on the brand, like they have some take out more particulates than others.
okay.
And also, especially like say with the Corvette, they will have a flow rate that you have to match for the manufacturer. So if you get this filter and it doesn't meet these specifications, you may have an issue.
Got you. Riding around on E. I know my car. Like, I know my car, I'll be good. Does that hurt the car? Like, I hear things about it hurts the car sometimes when you ride on low fuel. Is that true? Is that like a false statement?
Well, I will say this. I'm one of those people, I never ride around. As soon as when my car gets to E, I'm ready to go to the gas station. I'm one of those people because I don't believe in running out of gas. But like if you have like debris in your tank, or maybe your tank is starting to rust, maybe that could be an issue with it getting low, because now that is your supply. But as far as like it's just gonna kill your car, I really won't say it'll kill it. I mean, a lot of people do, but I feel like that's only an issue if you have like contaminants in your tank.
Well, speaking of, you say you kill your car, you got no type of car. I do want to ask you that because you spoke about it before, and I wanted to do something like this around tax time, but it's fine. Like, what would you say? When I say worse, I might be talking about more so dependable versus good dependent, right?
Yeah.
What's your top? I'll use 3. I'm going to do 5. 5 might be too many. What's your top 3 least dependable kind of cars?
Any Nissan with a CVT transmission, because usually it's not a matter of if they're gonna fail, it's when.
You said a CTV transmission.
CVT, continuous.
CVT.
Yeah, continuous variable.
Okay.
Yeah, the indicator that you have a CVT, instead of like when you shift the gears, you're like, it continuously just keep going up. They don't have that gear shift feeling.
Okay.
So CVT, but they're not perfected, and those Nissans, they fail at such low miles. So if you do have one, no, you need to be changing your transmission fluid at least every 60K miles.
Okay.
My number 2, I'm sorry, I got to do it for the GMs. Anything with a GM 3.6, even not just a 3.6, it could be their 4 cylinders. I can't remember if it's, especially their 4-cylinder turbos. They're so notorious for carbon buildup and oil consumption issues. And so when your carbon builds up on your valves, people think you only have to worry about the seating, the valve seat. But the more carbon that's on the valve, the more you're interrupting the flow rate, in that area. So now you're getting an uneven burn on your air fuel mixture. And so that'll have your fuel trims bouncing around. But for some reason, in the 4-cylinder GMs, I see them tend to be just strictly lean.
Okay.
Dangerously lean, though. Like burn your carb lean. So yeah, they're in there.
What's your third one?
Third one. And we're talking about buying new or used.
Either one. I don't know. Is it a big difference?
Yeah, it is.
I say used because nobody buy it. People buy a car like that.
I'm sorry. I hate to do it to your Germany. But usually, like these used German cars, people tend to forget, like Germans, they build machines and you have to take care of them like you're taking care of this expensive machine. So there is no such thing as, I'm going to stretch the oil interview, because everybody knows, well, in the car world, BMWs drink both gas and oil. So you stretch the interview, you're pretty much through. Like Audi had bad piston ring gears. And another thing, they just have so many bells and whistles, and they're so complex that here in America, a lot of people don't know how to take care of them. So when you get them, they have well-concealed problems. And if they do have a problem, who are you going to find to fix it outside the dealer, the import shop, and a person like me, which is rare to find? So yeah, stay away from your German, especially if if you want to get your kid their first car, do not get them a BMW.
So so BMW that would be considered a German car?
Oh yeah.
BMW? That's it, just BMW?
No, BMW, Audi, Mercedes is a little better mechanically, but electrically, they put their computers in bad places like that are susceptible to water.
Yeah.
So a lot of times those problems they fly under the radar. So they can pass a car to you, and you think, "Oh, I got a good Benz," and then all of a sudden you're having little glitches. And then when you trace the problem back, I'm like, "Oh, it's your rear SAM, which is like another computer in your car that feeds all this information."
See, you said something just now, and I had that question. I'm gonna ask now instead of asking about the top five. But like foreign versus domestic cars, I just said domestic because U.S. whatever. Like, so there is like a pros and cons to these kind of cars. Cause you hear about it, like talk about it in songs or people talk about like they brag about Audi or BMW or Mercedes, but there are downsides to having these foreign cars, I guess.
I mean, we say foreign. I mean, Toyota is foreign, but it's the most durable, reliable car you can get. So you mean like European?
European, I say that, yeah.
Yeah, because Land Rover Jaguar will make you pay.
And so where all these cars from? Like, so Land Rover Jaguar is from.
It's a British car.
Okay. Well, do they make any cars here? Like, what we make here? Nothing. We don't make no cars here.
Like, what they make here?
Yeah.
As far as what?
Like cars, like kind of cars.
Like, as far as the high end?
Yeah.
High end American car is Cadillac.
Okay, that's decent. That's decent. It's not bad, I guess. I mean,
Well, let me double check. I think Land Rover is British.
Well, I asked that too because when you said that the German cars, I'm like, well, I know that buying parts for a lot of them cars too be expensive. Like, and some cars are hard fixes because the parts cost so much money.
Oh, of course, yes. And you can't just put any aftermarket part on a German car, European brand. So if you're gonna not get the OEM brand, try to get another European brand that also doubles as like an OE supplier.
I'm glad you said that. OEM, you said that, right?
Yeah, like
what does that stand for?
you got original equipment, and then the other one's like original equipment manufacturer, OEM.
I'm asking that for me. I'm gonna tell you,
really?
I've been in this. Like I said, we out here. So I'm a store manager at an auto parts store, and I've been there for like October. I be saying it, but I don't know what it mean. I just be selling myself like on smarts. I know it mean like I knew it meant original. Never knew
Right.
none of this stuff mean, but I can use context clues. So you teach me something now. So thank you.
Like for example, like okay, like Cadillac. Yeah, the caliper says Cadillac, but the supplier that makes it is Brembo. So yeah, I can buy a Brembo caliper. It doesn't say Cadillac, but this is the OE brand.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Top three most reliable cars.
Toyota.
Toyota Camry.
Toyota's
Toyota
the best.
anything.
I mean, are we counting Toyota and Lexus the same brand make?
Not really. No, not to me. No. I
Well,
wouldn't.
Toyota and Lexus are basically the same. Like,
So is Nissan and Infiniti, right? Technically speaking.
yeah.
Yeah, but I still look at them as different. I want an Infiniti. I do want one.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to get one.
Why? Why would you say it like that? Why?
You have to go. Oh, please don't let it need timing.
Why? I heard a song like Nas got that song. If I Were the World, he said, if I were the world and everything in it, sky the limit. I push a Q45 Infiniti, and I just always like that car since that moment. I seen it. I'm like, it was like a good car. I could just come to you. You fix it. That's no big deal. You know what to do.
Yeah, but a lot of people they'll think, oh, I have an Infiniti. Like they'll be like, oh, it's Infiniti. It's not a BMW, so it shouldn't be expensive. Infinity timing is definitely an extensive repair.
But just I'm curious. In some of these cars or whatever kind of car, like if you do your upkeep stuff, you should be good. Or no, some cars is just designed to like you gonna wish you didn't buy this car at some point anyway.
But see, there are flaws in engineering, and when they have such a consistent flaw, they'll make a service bulletin for it. So I'm like, okay, you might upkeep your car, you might do this, but hey, I have a weak point here that is gonna fail. Like for example, Audi. I don't know if they ever fixed it, but their timing and then Audi, why would you put the timing area in the rear, like towards the transmission? But their tensioners will fail. So now you gotta get a technician, to go replace these tensioners because it's failing, it's rattling. But that's just a weak point they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got me nervous a little bit. Let me tell you why. Cause I
Why?
asked you. I'm about to tell you because I asked you about the top 5 worst cars, right? And you started with Nissan. I drive a Nissan, but I never had no issues with my car.
Is it CVT?
I don't even know. Like not
What year?
2017. Oh, here we go. See there? I'm doomed. Here we go.
The Jutter code.
I never had no
awaits.
problem with it
I
since
mean,
I had it.
you have a 2017, so it's plenty of years for that Jutter, that CVT. When's the last time you had a transmission fluid change?
2023, 2024.
How many miles?
110,000.
I mean, you're better than most, but yeah, you want to change that 30 to 60K because they're just so fail prone.
It make me wonder now if I need it. Now I feel like tomorrow I should just go there to get it done.
Yeah.
But I work with mechanics, so I mean, it's doable still, but it's just like, damn, that really threw me off. But I guess I see we might look at it through different lenses because you actually touching and working on all these different cars all the time. I drive the same one every day for the most part.
Oh,
You
you're
know
a
what
dealer
I'm saying?
tag.
You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, I'm looking at it like based on how a car has hurt my pockets or not. You know? So I felt like I had a good car. Now I feel like, damn, I don't know. I need to start shopping for another one.
I mean, I would say, like, I've had people comment that love their Infinity, and not their Infinity or Nissan, well, same thing, whatever. But they're like, I change my CVT fluid every 60K, I have 40K or whatever they like, and I've never had a problem. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, that maintenance, I would probably agree that would probably prolong or, prevent that problem. But am I sure that problem will never occur? Because
Yeah.
it just seems like that Jutter code, it's not a if I get it, it's a win. Like, my sister has a CVT Jutter.
Well, luckily you did. You could fix it for us, so she good.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'll end up doing a reel on it because so many people have that code. Like, when I'm diagnosing one reason, I'm like, I just want to let you know you got a death date in here.
See, yeah, do it. I don't. Yeah, you shouldn't be in that field. You need a secretary to pass this message on because with that
I
smile and
regret
that,
to inform
grin,
you, you're gonna die soon.
yeah, that grin is crazy. Like now I'm mad. Like, all right. So I want to ask about the mechanic thing real quick. I know you're not a mechanic. You're a technician, right?
I can use the interchange. I feel like I'm both.
How does can they determine or find a good mechanic? How can you help them if you know at all to spot a bad one?
Okay, when I say so if your car needs repairs, the best place I would recommend, is the dealer. They're the ones who make, now I'm not saying they're exempt from mistakes. And if they do misdiagnose you, you're going to pay a heavy price for that. I have examples of that. One being a 6.0 Power Stroke. But that should be like the best place because, they see the same make over and over again. They know where all the bodies are buried as far as problems. So that'll be your best bet. Now, as far as reputable shops, that's something you're going to have to go by in like reviews because that could be kind of subjective because if you have a BMW, you can't just go to any, you're like, this is a nice shop. If they don't specialize in imports, sorry. You may get a good repair at it, but if you have a real European problem, they're probably going to misdiagnose you or just not going to be able to deal with that caliber issue. So if you have an import, if you can find a great import shop, then I think that'll be the best outside of the dealer. If you have an American car, you kind of have a bigger pool to pick from as far as reputable shops because, domestic cars, they can be more simplistic. Ford sometimes will nut up on you. I work on a lot of BMW and Ford because of that.
So Ford's not that great.
I mean,
say they built tough. See, every car got these slogans and stuff. So like
Built
now I
for it
wonder,
tough.
like,
I'm definitely a Ford diesel fan, only because I'm kind of Dodge, and two, it's nice Dodge has the Cummins diesel, But if you attach it to a transmission that's fail prone, I don't care. It's a Cummins. But transmission, like no.
But you're not a GMC fan.
Now GMC, Chevy, they look the best to me. I love the look. But for some reason, they have crankshaft problems. And if I'm gonna fail, I'd rather have issues. I would rather have a 6.0, the problematic 6.0 that has all these little things that fail around it, even the heads, before my crank goes crazy. I throw a rod or my gear gets sheared off because my whatever, because they have so many various crank problems, and now I need a whole engine rebuild every time.
Yeah.
Because if you throw a rod, you probably messed up the pan. You mess up the top end because you got to think of the force of this diesel engine, and now you got something break. So that's the only thing. If they do come out with an upgrade for their bottom end for Chevy, oh yeah, I go Duramax all the way. But until then, because I work on so many Ford diesels, the 7.3 is probably the more reliable, tried and true. That is the one, but the sound of the 6.0, I can't beat it.
So I know you mentioned about the, going to that dealer. And I think that's smart too,
Yeah.
obviously, because they know the car,
Right.
But then you got people who, they want to go to, the dealer they're going to charge the dealer prices also.
They gonna whack you.
You going, it's a price for everything. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it makes sense to go to, Rod up the street. No respect to anybody named Rod, of course. Not saying they know they do their job because, or they live down the street. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
See, that's where the toss up. When you're talking about personal, like people to work on vehicles, that's gonna be like a real search. Because I'm sorry, you don't find a me everywhere. Like, and I help other mechanics. I do help.
No, expound on that. You don't find a me everywhere. What that mean?
Somebody who's like really well versed on not only just fixing but diagnosing actually what's wrong, because there is a difference. Everybody who diagnoses can't really get hands on and be mechanical. Mm-hmm. But everybody who's mechanical and just like a beast with engine work, that doesn't mean they can diagnose a vehicle.
You can do both.
Oh yeah.
Two-headed monster.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
But so that's a toss up. So, people will be like, oh, I know he does cars. He's a mechanic. And then you're asking them to diagnose your no start. And now you've replaced the fuel pump. You've replaced the battery. You've replaced the alternator. And these are things I've seen. And then I come along, I'm like, hey, your starter wire, your 12-volt starter wire is corroded. And that's why it's not getting instead of getting 12 volts down to your starter, you're getting 0.3. You're never gonna start.
But that's a mechanical thing like you're doing. Like you are mechanically you're seeing that. But like, the person that can work on cars might not see that.
Yeah, like the diagnostic part of it is to know, hey, let me get my power probe or my multimeter and see if I'm getting 12 volts down to this wire that's coming straight from the battery.
Yeah, I'm sorry, diagnostics. I'm sorry.
So the actual changing it out, I can point to somebody who changed parts and be like, hey, change this wire out, change this starter out. But actually figuring out the problem, like they will misdiagnose, and by the time you get to me, you've replaced several parts on the car.
See, but I was gonna say that. I'm glad you brought them right there on 118 because I was gonna ask you about a good reputation versus a bad reputation, how you build your reputation, right?
Oh yeah.
But you mentioned like Google reviews and things of that nature, right? But let's say me, I'm gonna use myself for example. Bobby is not my name for real, but we're gonna go Bobby, right? I come to Rod up the street. I go to him. Rod is a beast. They tell me, you told me he a beast, he could fix stuff, right? He didn't change my fuel pump. He didn't change this, change that, took that out. And it's still, I'm not figuring out what's wrong, right? I come down the street to Layla finally because I'm like, look, pride out the way, I'm going to a woman, right? Let's just say that's what I'm doing, right? Okay, cool. You tell me, hey, look, it's some small, not this small, but you do your diagnostic work you do, you know what I'm saying? You say, oh, it's just that. I'm giving Rod a bad review because why the fuck I bought all these parts already and like one person just telling me it's just one thing, but that might not be fair.
But I mean, everybody can only speak to their experience, so that's why as a person that's providing a service, you have to make sure as many people that come to you, you're giving them a good experience.
But whose fault would that be? Because like, let's just say Rod did change the fuel pump. It looks amazing. He did change that. Everything is good. He just couldn't do what you could do for the diagnostic. Is that on the car owner to not, that person didn't know to go to a technician, quote unquote, or that should Rod have said, hey, look, I only fix cars, bro. I can't tell you what's wrong, right?
But see, like mechanics, they definitely can diagnose too, but everything is not cookie cutter. Especially like I tell a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I'm an ASC, I'm this." I'm like, "That's nice," but in the field, it doesn't come like just so
Yeah, yeah.
given that way.
Because even codes, like you read codes, like I don't know everything, but I know enough to know this. You read codes, in my program, when you read the codes, you might have a P0141, whatever that might be, but it might tell you it could be this, or it could be this, or it could be that, right?
That's another thing. I need y'all, I'm talking to y'all, to stop thinking because you got the codes, you have a thorough diagnostic.
I tell them all the time.
Oh God, please stop doing that. Because they'll come to me and be like, oh, I got this from, let's see, P0171. I got this code, system too lean. Oh, they're suggesting a mass airflow. That's what it is. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I can make sure. Or do you want me to die? No, I already know what it is. Replace the mass airflow. My engine light is on. It's still, do you want me to diagnose it now?
Okay, I see now. But that's what I was saying. So even in that regard, let's say we use Rob Street again. It's not I'm not Rob's fault. If I came to this person with a paper and I said, "This is what
Yeah,
you
if you
know."
tell someone what you want replaced, okay, even I will replace exactly that.
But see, even talking to you, like it's making me think. Like I see the difference now in the whole mechanical and technician thing.
It
It
is.
seems like y'all just. I mean, no pun intended. Y'all more technical. It seems like y'all just.
Yeah, I've seen people like get burned that way. Like as this guy, if he watching this, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about you. But he had a Dodge 5.7 Hemi. Now I already know where all the bodies are buried on this car because I work with so many different vehicles. I People think you have to know specifically, oh, a 2017, know this car. But really, even if you go all the way back to maybe '06, '01, they just change things around it and they build on that design. So you'll know like they had this problem for years, like Impala with the actuators ticking. They've had those forever. That's just something that happens. So he has this 5.7. He tells me, hey, I need you to replace all the spark plugs, all the coils. And do you need a diagnosis? Like, no, I know what it. I'm like, okay. Labor hours almost like 4 hours for this. I'm like, why? Replace it, and it took that. That Hemi getting in the bag, and I was standing on my tippy toes. I was sore for like 2 days. But replace everything. And then the whole time he was like, yeah, because people, they want to charge you $100, $150 for you to diagnose their car and before they even work on the car. So he talking all this mess about diagnostics. I don't say anything. Because in my head, I'm like, I can't even say this is going to be a valuable lesson. I already know what's wrong with it. I already know. Crank it up, hit a start up, and I'm like, there she is. Cam, they notorious for these cam and valves and lifters, and he got them all. He got them all honest. The fuel trims are lean. They're not improving with acceleration, so it's not an air leak. That means I got combustion air just flying. And so I'm telling him what it is. I can hear it in this. I'm like, this is actually, you really need an engine, unless you want me to go inside and do the internals. It's just his face. Like, it felt like he went cold, and I'm just like, in my head, but I'm like, well, now you know why people charge for diagnostics, because you thought, oh, I got a misfire. It's spark plugs and coils, and for some reason, it's never that. It's never that. And I'm like, no, your camshaft is probably all chewed up.
Damn.
So yeah.
So and it's really that technical sometimes too with these cars.
Yes, diagnostics is more than just, people think it's just reading codes. No, what does it smell like? What do I hear? And sometimes when you see several codes together, they mean one thing. Like for Kia Hyundai, if I see a camshaft position, maybe retarded, a misfire, and maybe an oil pressure code, your rod bearings are gone. Just on paper, that's what it is. If you send me those 3 codes, I know rod bearings.
How you learn this in 4 years?
I've seen a lot. Experience is the best teacher.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, but as a car dealer, if you do not get a good car, you want to get this car out as fast as possible, so it's on you to fix it, or you're not gonna get paid. So, and you gotta think, people think the car dealer auction is the best place to get vehicles. If you're not buying all green, I mean, it's already comes with a post inspection. They're saying they're warranty in it for this. Like if it's not good, you can take it back. If you're buying outside of green light, this has been at a dealer auction. Their mechanics have already looked at it and they said, you know what, we're going to send it through the auction because we don't want to fix it. So you'll go to the Carfax or the history. They've serviced the AC several times. And so everything you think it is, it's not. And so that's why I've even traced ACs all the way back to the ECU.
So earlier you said something. I didn't want to cut you off. I wrote it down, but I seen in your story today. I don't know what the part you had. I don't know what part you had in your story, but you went to the junkyard and stuff, right? But you ended up getting. I noticed mechanics, technicians, everybody do this. Like a car from 2010, you might be looking for a part for it, but you might use a part on another car for another year and fit that same part.
Yeah.
Like, how do y'all be knowing these things? How do y'all know that a 2014 XYZ type of car fits a 06 this kind of car? And I asked them because I'll be at work and they about them. I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like the system tell me to put this stuff in. I'm going for it. I don't do mix and match. How do y'all know this stuff?
Well, if you're not, like, say you need to go to the junkyard and you want to find out what all vehicles have this, you can go to eBay, type it in, and they'll have sheets that tell you all of this. Or, like I did with that starter, I can just look at the engine and know it's the same. Even for the compressor I looked at it, I knew the engine was the same. Like I'm working on a Mercury, but that's a Taurus, same car, same 3.0. It could be dual overhead cam or overhead valve, but I know this is the overhead valve.
But and I know you said eBay, but you get this from experience, like from working on these cars. You be like, okay, that's the same thing as that. Are you making that distinction? Is it through over time of day in, day in, working different cars? Is it just you reading books? Is it like you doing extra research? Like what? Like where you get a lot of the bulk of the information that you're able to retain from? Is it from experience?
It can be with it, but my memory is a little photographic too. So if I see something in black and white, say I looked up this Honda Accord, I can kind of see, like, especially with Toyota, like, okay, I got a V6 Toyota. It's probably going to be the same for an ES330, a Toyota Highlander, a Solara, like certain little things. But to be sure, I'll be like, oh, let me go to eBay and see who's selling it, and they'll have a chart or with it, a compatibility chart. So that's easy for me. So maybe that'll help somebody.
But like even just now, like, I mean, we could do with some cars, yes. Like, a Toyota, I think Camry, you know what I'm saying? Nissan, I might think Altima, these things. But like, how do you even know, how do you, like, really put in the back of your mind, like, all these brands with the car? Like, this,
because the engine will be the same. Like, they don't make a different engine for every single thing. Like the 2GR FE that comes in the Lexus ES350 I have, it probably comes in a Toyota Avalon. Like they'll use different, even though it's a different make, model, they're still in the same family. I put this engine, like that 3.6 that comes in the Cadillac XTS, it also comes in the Acadia. Like,
I'm shaking my head. Yes, I know nothing about none of this stuff you're talking about. Okay,
but yeah, they'll use the same engine. Like GM will use that 3.6 in a lot of different applications. Dodge with their 3.6, their Pentastar, it might come in a Dodge Charger, Challenger, Avenger, Magnum. They'll just use the same engine, but just in different applications.
I do have a question. I want to ask towards the later part of this because I didn't want to spend time on it at all. Honestly, I wanted to do this without that. But with what you do now and the 4 years of you learning and getting experience and getting your expertise on, right? And we talked about, of course, the Car Baddie, the tire and all that stuff, which I think is really minuscule in what you do when I think about it in totality. But thinking about like even the dancing and stuff you did, like what was it? Was it a hard transition to be in a field where it seemed like you can kind of bask in your femininity versus now being a field? Not saying you can't bask in it, but it's like you kind of have to play double dutch a little bit to show people like, hey, I'm really what I'm saying I am.
Well, I will say, I don't know if it was it a hard trend? It definitely was a different lifestyle because life is more like faster, but they still do have their
Your hands are cleaner in one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I wear gloves. Like, I cannot stand you.
Show the camera your hands. Your hands, they're nice. They're not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always like to wear gloves. I hate getting my hands dirty. But I will say, like my previous life, you're dealing with a lot of different people. You're trying to be like their idea, like their fantasy, what they would like. So you kind of will lose yourself, like who you really are, because you have to be like a chameleon and blend in with everything. So that's why when you said like you feel like I'm more into myself now, is because I'm like, hey, I had to take a time back to even try to learn myself, because I'm like, you've been being like who someone else would like to be, like would like to see you as,
Yeah.
and so now you're like yourself. You're like, dang, who am I really? So I went through a phase like that. So it's kind of interesting that you really asked that question. So now, like with them saying, oh, they don't believe that this, I really don't care if you don't believe, because at some point, like it's gonna get hard. You're gonna just make yourself look foolish by saying it's not real.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like I said, I asked that even with, because like I said, and I try to go to this just so I could bring it full circle, even with the question about, whether it was planned with the clothing and the attire and stuff. I just like I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, okay, well, you had just came from this, so it wasn't uncommon for you to not like,
Yeah, I just like all the
have a bunch of
time.
clothes on.
I
It's
just like
like
a wrestler.
chill. That's
Yeah, like Meg Thee Stallion. I don't even like Meg Thee Stallion, but yeah, how she in crop top all that. I wear crop top everything.
all right. Hold on, why you like running style? What she did to you?
You go against Nicki, it's gonna cost you every time. Now everything is flopping.
Oh, you still on
Flopping.
Barbie time?
Oh yeah, always a bar. Will never ever change. I love Nicki forever.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, let me ask you a question. What you thought about when she battled Remy Ma? What you thought about that?
Was she what?
Battle Remy Ma, or lack thereof. What you thought
I
about
knew
that?
she would never last again. Like, yeah, like Nicki said, you exposed your ghostwriter. Now we don't know where you at. Oh yeah, you beefing with Clarissa Shields over
But
Bad
hold on,
Rules.
you thought Nicki Minaj won that battle? You thought Nicki Minaj won that battle?
Definitely.
Remy Ma?
Yeah, I did. First of all,
Oh,
Remy Ma
Jesus
exposed
Christ.
herself for having a ghostwriter. Let's get that out of the way. Secondly, like, Remy Ma came up like with the battle rap type of era type thing. You got to realize when you're doing mainstream, not only you have to do your diss, but you also it has to be accepting to people playtime too.
Yeah.
No Frost was played everywhere in the club. Nobody's gonna vibe to Sheether in the club.
That's funny. I can agree with that, but I mean, I like battle rap.
Of course you
I
do. New
would
York.
wonder what Nicki Minaj think about that battle. If she felt like she was victorious or not. I have to see if she ever spoke on that. I don't think she really spoke on that.
I
She ain't got too many
mean, No
chinks in her
Frost
armor,
said
but
enough.
that's a chink though. I don't know. That was.
No Frost said enough. Like,
But you really a Barbie. I can tell like that. I feel like you sound like me when I talk about Drake, so it's fine. Like it's no big deal.
I mean, I don't really have I get it. I'm like, okay, yeah, Kendrick, yeah, you definitely did your big one, but boy, now my playlist, that junk got so much Drake.
Oh, I can understand that. I can definitely see that. Yeah, I try to get into that because people get too invested in that. Like the music never changed
Kendrick
for
for
me.
the people, and Aubrey, like you definitely be showing your Mayo side. But when it comes to the body of work, I'm like, no, Kendrick, like I could put on a Kendrick mix and vibe, but I'm gonna have way more memories, like way more vibes with Drake, all the way back from when he just started just talking mess. Like he went from a lover boy to be like, I'm here now. On his worst behavior and all that. Like, so yeah, I have a lot of Drake memories.
You mentioned this earlier, and I even want to ask this one. Want to ask it towards the end though, but like, and I want you to tell me what you can give. You can go for a long time if you want to. Give me a full spiel. I don't know. Give me a story. I don't know, but like, even think from the industry you came from and come into the industry. What is it like being not only a female, a woman? I don't know which one to use these days. I'm just gonna say both, but a black female / woman in a male-dominated industry. How has that been a pro, and where has it been a con at? How have you grown from it? Did it ever alter your decision as far as like wanting to be a part of this industry? Has it ever taunted your confidence? Like talk about that from your perspective.
Well, like I would say that people like more, like I said, people they pay more attention that I'm a woman and I'm black than I do too. Yeah, I'm just doing my thing, right? But it wasn't until I went to it was this white girl comment section. So I looked at her video. I'm like, oh, she's not really doing anything. I just knew her comments were gonna look like my comments. And when I looked at her comments, it was like the complete opposite. And so that was one of those moments I was like, wow,
Opposite like what though?
like on my comments, oh, there's no way you're doing that, just nitpicking, like just really hateful type comments. And I'm like, look, I'm just rich. Are you mad I'm working on a Corvette? Are you mad I'm working on a Mercedes? Like, what's going on? So I expected her comments to be, nitpicking and like very critical of what she's doing. But when I went to the comments and they were nothing like that. And that's when I realized, I said, oh, it's deeper than just, oh, I'm a woman working on cars and people are just upset when I'm a woman. That's when I realized that the color definitely does play a role. Because I really, like I post, like I scroll, but I don't really usually go to comments from other like creators that often. So I'm like, I've only seen her take out a bolt and this. I'm like, I just know they're going to be like, oh, there's a guy did this. I went in there, great job. I like what you're doing for the industry. I'm like, I know you're lying. Like, I didn't rebuild the Mercedes. Like, what else do you want from me?
I do think
So-
listening to you talk is dope that you was able to do your finding and searching of who you are as a person yourself, because maybe it would have got to you more had you not done that. Like, you knowing who you are and what you can do and what you're capable of, maybe it set your confidence at a certain level with like, no matter what anybody's saying, it ain't gonna bother you, or it ain't gonna alter you what you're doing. It might bother you for a second, ain't no telling, because we all got feelings. Imagine that. I think about it like, you spend all this time, you got years in now of you just, learning and growing and doing the necessary steps to put the work in to be considered one of the best in your field doing something, right? And you spend all this time on this car, or you spend your blood, sweat, and tears, you sweating outside in the South, in Hefzibah, Big Bean Road or some shit like that, right? And you out there sweating, and you filming your car, and you post your reel to show your accomplishment, and somebody saying like, they just taunting you, or they downing you, or they nitpicking. That can be.
It really depends on what Gemini mood I'm in. Because sometimes I
Jesus
just...
Christ. We should have started with, you a Gemini?
Yes.
Okay. Keep going. I'm
So
sorry.
sometimes I might just clown or laugh at all, but sometimes I'm like, I'll just make you look foolish. Because sometimes, like, especially, they'll be from a shop. There will be dealer techs. There will be, and sometimes they have the energy like they just automatically think they know more. That's why you can't ever think you just know more than somebody. Even somebody that's not on your level, they might have something, they might have just something, a remedy for something they just experienced, and you just don't know it. So they'll try to come in with like, hey, I'm the king of the world, I'm master this, but you don't know what low compression sounds like. You don't know what no compression sounds like. Or I did a Lexus GS. I wish I wouldn't have sold it. It was the one with the 2JZ in it, GE. So I showed them that the head gas is blown. I have water in the cylinders. The head gas is blown. And I had so many people, like so many mechanics tell me, oh no, show me the head gasket. It's not blown. And I'm like, oh, you don't realize that it doesn't have to be broken for a head gasket to be blown, like, or compromised. Your head could be warped. The coating could have given away. It's so many other reasons for you to have a head gasket failure other than that it's a broken gasket. So I'm like, you just did your whole announcement, your Master Tech ASC this, but that simple information you didn't know. And now you didn't expose yourself for not knowing. Now you got to block me. Now you got to block me. And I didn't say anything crazy. I'm just like, I mean, you can Google. If you don't trust me, Google it.
I'm telling you, they blocking you because they're looking at your picture. I don't know who this person talking about. They probably see a black woman. They probably reading what you're saying like the worst tone possible. And like I said, you probably saying it in a laughable way, ha 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 ha, joking and stuff. But I'm telling you, when you read the stuff you saying, you be thinking like, I'm thinking you pounding your fist when you talking like that. And you're not even doing that. You really just a chill, ha ha person, Like you laughing and stuff.
I might not even, sometimes I might include like little sarcasm or jabs with it, but sometimes I would just say the fact of what it is. And even just the fact alone that they've done this ASC certified intro, and now you've just embarrassed yourself like a girl she just chilling, just doing head gases, and now you've just exposed yourself for this is something outside of your expertise.
So I mentioned the male dominated, like even ego. You think about that? Like
Oh my God. The male ego. The male ego. A lot of y'all need counseling.
Yo,
A lot of y'all need counseling. So I think y'all should stop, demonizing counseling and go get help.
I was just talking strictly about cars. That's just people that's in cars.
No, but I'm saying
just in general.
That ego thing, I would just love to know. Maybe I need to just look into it. What'll make a guy know this is something outside of his realm of practice and still want to speak like he knows what's going on? They do that. Like, you know good and well you've never taken a Mercedes down to the block. Why are you trying to tell me? I don't care if you work for the dealer because they're not gonna do that. It takes too much time.
That makes sense though. But I can see it because like I don't know if that's all ego. It could be entitlement too. Entitlement to a gender. I mean, like I'm a guy. I should know more than you.
That happens a
Meaning,
lot too. And I'm like, just because you're a guy, like, look, this still is not something you do. Like, you've never been rebuilt the transmission, so why are you speaking on transmission things?
I didn't have this question down, but now I have to ask because we conversing. I want to ask, like, do you think that affects you in your social? I'm gonna just say social. I ain't gonna say dating. Social life. Like, do you think like not how you are, because how you are is how you gonna be. It's whatever. And then you're a Gemini, so that makes everything make perfect sense now. But as far as like you knowing some of the things you know, with come to cars and just handiwork, whatever, like had that been a problem for you in your social life?
Well, outside of social media, I'm not really that social. That's one thing I can say. Like, my early 20s, I'm like, oh, I'll go out and this, but I've never been the type to be that social with like friends. Even if I'm out, that means I probably just met somebody and this is the experience we're having and we probably won't even talk again. But yeah, I'm pretty much doing my own thing, so I don't socialize that much.
Okay.
So
I was just curious. I wonder, like, if a guy met you and, you saying that you talking about 5.7, 4.0, all this stuff, and he like,
see,
look, chill.
that'll happen with car guys. Even though I love BMW, I'm a BMW enthusiast, but for some reason, me and BMW guys don't mix.
Oh, so they're different guys for different cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are definitely different guys for different cars. So yeah.
What's your type? Like, I have to ask that question now. What's your type? Like, is it BMW? Is it Audi? Is it?
Oh, as far as my vehicle type,
Yeah, got your
oh
vehicle guy.
BMW for sure. One, and if you got something to say negative about BMW, that means you really haven't driven one. Because if you actually drive one, own one, feel the road, it's called the ultimate driving machine for a reason, and you will learn this. Like I'm like, yeah, you know, you got your Hemis, you got your Corvettes, but you cannot beat the ride. Like when you feel the curves, you feel the hills. Like they had an expedition. I mean, they had some type of expedition, and you know they had been working on this Corvette, and they're like, oh, we're gonna put it up against the Germans on a straightaway. Yeah, Corvette, fastest straightaway car. But if you put anything with a hill or a curve, you just lost. You just lost because the transmission is so quick. Like, and it's just only something like you're gonna have to experience it. When you experience how fast that transmission adjusts to you on a hill or a curve, you're gonna know the difference. And I will forever be a BMW enthusiast.
Has working on like cars and the technician and stuff, has that kind of transformed you into a car junkie, so to speak? Like, do you just love cars now? Like,
Definitely. You know, I'm a car hoarder. The only reason why my collection is at the number it is, even though it's kind of getting up there, I'm getting close to double digits, is because my dad be like, no, you don't need a car right
wait, you
now.
mean double digits? Like, you have more that many cars?
Like I'm close to double digits, yeah.
You driving all of them, or you just got them?
No, I'm one of those people. I'm like for example, I want a V12 BMW, not the newer ones, like an E32. I don't care if it's not running. I'm like, oh, I'll have to.
Just to have it.
Yeah, there was one in Tennessee. I was like, man, I love to put this on. I was like, you don't need any or car sitting, but it's like I want it. So when I eventually, I'm probably gonna go to like 3 sundown towns to get there though. It's
Sundown towns is crazy. That's insane. I do got a question. So what's your end goal? Like not even end goal. I'm not saying that, but like what's a goal for you with what you're doing? Like, all right, you clearly you're learning. You are very well versed and intellectual with knowing cars and about different types and under the hood and stuff like that. The technician side of things. What's next for you? Like, what you trying to take this to the next level? What are you doing?
I probably would just want to do strictly social media because even though I've met some, pretty cool people along the way, like I don't want to have to deal with too many personalities. I'll probably always deal with them. I don't care what's going on. I'm like, yeah, send it to me. Send it out from wherever you are.
I'm sorry. Send it to me. The car.
Yeah, because if you see me make content on a vehicle, 9 times out of 10 it didn't come from here. Like my latest one came from Pittsburgh.
So they send it on like a truck or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll come on a hauler or that's I've had people tow themselves because they got big trucks themselves. But usually it's not something near, it's more specialty. So I would probably only just my own collection, just make content off of, my own cars. Cause like I got a 64 DeVille, like I can make tons of videos. I have to restore it. So you can see this restored in real time. I'd rather only just make like maybe content, diagnostics, and maybe I'll probably teach others how to do certain
I was going to
things.
ask you that. Would you teach? I asked that. I mean, I was thinking about young men, of course, but as I'm talking to a woman, like why leave out women? Like things that kids probably should know. Small stuff you probably know now, of course, but like small stuff, how to change your own oil, how to change a tire, just little stuff like that. Like it's mechanical stuff. It's stuff dealing with the automotive, but it's stuff that it's a DIY thing you can kind of do, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you ever thought about teaching people or just?
I mean, yes, but if I did like all the simple stuff, it would definitely have to be on the video.
Yeah.
But as far as diagnostics, that would have to be probably. I mean, it could be on video, but depending on what I might could teach you in person, because I diagnose cars for shops, mechanics too. Like they might have a car that's bugged. I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
Or like I forgot where I was at because it was out, but he had a BMW. He couldn't program the key, and so I go in my software. All the slots are filled, and so even though I couldn't do the key, I was like, I have your remedy. I said we're gonna do if she wants because it was somebody else's car. I said you can sit at DM me in, have it mated with a key and a CAS module. It's for a BMW, and that'll remedy your problem. You don't have to worry about it. But she was like, oh, for electronics, she's just gonna go to the dealer. I think she spent 1,800, and they was like, oh, it may work, and the car is just sitting because they're not gonna make any money off it. So it's certain things like you could tell, like an independent shop, like, hey, this is how you get away around this
Yeah.
problem.
See, okay, that makes sense. But I think too, like, I look at your social media presence. I mean, I don't get fixated in the followers per se, but I get fixated more in the interactions you get. You know what I'm saying? Like the followers is one thing that's gonna happen. People gonna follow somebody because they look good. All right, cool. Never interact, but the interactions you get are true. And I think you close to, even in followers, you close to like I think if I'm not mistaken, 100K on whether Facebook or Instagram. If I'm mistaken, I don't know. I didn't do my research. I'm not gonna lie.
Facebook, I think I'm at like 95K. On Instagram, it's like 130K.
Yeah, so altogether we gonna say what, $115, $120 together, right? If you just
I think I like 500 on YouTube or something. I'm sorry, I gotta post
500K?
more. Like no, just 500 because I don't post, and I'm like, I need to post on YouTube for
YouTube
y'all.
is tough though. It is tough, but I do think that that's something you can do. Like I look at the content you make, and from back then even till now, I see a big difference in just how comfortable you seem on camera, just the talking part, even the more charisma part. I say charisma because I think you get to know more of you now than before. Before it's easy to say, oh, I don't know if she's joking or not because I couldn't tell. But now I feel like you got your own charisma going, you got your own self thing going. So like it's easy to kind of see when you're joking and when you're not joking now. But I do think it's a space for you on social media to do that because you got the following for it. If anybody, I think you definitely got it. So you gotta be nice to people. That's all. Be nice to them a little bit sometimes. I wouldn't, chop
Yeah.
everybody's head off, but
I mean, I try to say. I think I went on this IG live show, and I tried to tell her I don't want to be like because some people they'll call me an influencer. I'm like influencer, like I just be making automotive reels. But I try to interact with more like as many people as possible because I don't want to be like how those influencers be like you never hear from them. They
yeah.
never interact. At most, they might like your comment. I'm like, no, I'll respond. And if you say something crazy, they'll be like, oh, she just roasted you. You might see that too.
Yeah.
So I'm actually like a real person, not like some snobby influencer that it just doesn't seem real. So yeah, I have real dialogue. If you say something crazy, you might get a crazy response because I'm not trying to be cookie cutter, to fit a mold for what you think an influencer like should behave like. So like you might say some crazy comment on the influencer, and you're like, oh, they're not gonna say anything. I know I don't say everything in every comment, but it just might be one of those times where I'm like, oh, I see your comment today. Let's learn together, shall we? Let's learn.
But I think that's dope. So even if you're doing that and then you putting in your story, making a reel and tagging the person and like talking to them or whatever, I think that'd be dope too. I've seen you actually do that a couple of times before. I've seen people do that a lot too. Like you take a comment, you make it your screenshot, you put it behind yourself on a thing, you
They
talk.
say crazy stuff, and I'm like,
That's
okay,
dope.
welcome to class. Like, this is why you don't do this.
That's dope, man. That's dope. What yeah, man, like I kind of knew this. I knew our combo would be this way. I just wanted to I like to hear you talk about the car stuff. And even you talking about it, I can tell that you are very engulfed in what you're talking about. It's not just for show, like I initially thought I did years ago. But also I just see like you got the knowledge and stuff for it too. So I think that's dope. I think you got a good reputation right here. Obviously, 'cause every time I bring it up, people say, "Oh, I know your dad, of course," but they say your dad, that's such and such daughter, and go from
Yeah.
there. But yeah, just tell people like where they can find you, social media, how they can reach you if they want to talk to you more, if they want to have a question, get diagnostic, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'm the Car Baddie on all platforms. So there's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's gonna be consistent, the same. And I mean, just shoot me a message. I do have an email up. I mean, if you prefer email, but yeah.
How many emails did you get a day?
How many emails do I do get? It just depends because I'm so much on social media. People are more likely to message me, but I
Yeah.
do check my emails, and sometimes they're like, "Hey, I'm out in Texas. I'm having." So I'll do respond on email too.
Well, I want to ask you this is my last question for it, but I asked that because you say you messaged me and something like that. Because of how you look, who you are, and what you're doing in your social media presence and stuff like that, is it hard to filter out the questions where it's like they have a car question or they just horny or they just like you? They
I'm
just
not even gonna lie.
infatuated.
I sort y'all messages.
You
If you
said,
say anything car related, you go to the primary. I'm sorry if you just like, "Hey, how beautiful," is something like that. I'm sorry, you going in the general. And if you
oh,
keep
wow.
spamming me, like just sending me just reels over and over again that you send everybody, or just you probably going restricted and going to the request. I'm not even gonna lie.
This, this for the last question. This is the last question. I just thought about something. What made you change your mind? Like, this is more so for me more than anything. I remember, it's funny, I talked to you almost 2 hours now, and I remember hitting you up a while back, and I was like, yo, you should come on a podcast. I remember the day you was like, I'm gonna message you real quick, because I don't think I deleted it. You were like, I don't do, I don't do
I was
podcasts.
tired of these podcast people. I ain't gonna lie.
And, hey,
But you want me to tell you why though?
me too. So,
At the time, you gotta think Kevin Samuels was hot. Like all the controversy. For some reason, I don't know why, guys who do podcasts, they think that they're gonna make their way by being negative towards women, trying to be their version of Kevin Samuels. That was like trending. So I'm like, I'm not gonna come on your podcast. I didn't know at the time like how your podcast was or anything.
yeah.
So you were just in the slew of them, like.
I never did the Kevin Samuel thing, so clap it up for me for that. I never got caught up on that. All right, but it was December 15th, 2022. That's when I said.
Oh, I probably was like, these. I'm
You
tired of these
said
podcasts.
I said, "What's your main film?" You said, "What is that?" I said, "It's a podcast." You was like, "I'm not really into the whole podcasting." I just said, "I respect it. If you change your mind, let me know."
Yeah, I think yeah.
July 4th, 2023. I said, "Hey, you change your mind?" Oh, no, no. I didn't ask you that. I asked you about opening a mechanic shop. You didn't respond to me. Well, I guess I was nobody. 2024. I said, check in if you change your mind about being interviewed in a podcast. Let me know. You never responded. February 16th. I think I hit you. I said when all this died. Oh yeah, I had a thing going on with another person, and after the Q podcast, you had that stuff going on. Whatever. I don't get into that. And then I asked you about it. I said, I want to focus more on you and cars, though, and get your story, no rush. And you was like, I've done some digging, look at your content, and I can see why you won Best Podcast. I said, okay, now she know who I am. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
Clap it up
looked
for
at it, I
me.
was
That's what I'm
like,
talking about.
I said, okay. I said, oh, he's not a Kevin Hart's copy.
Nah. That was never my thing. So, but I said to say, just to put in closing that, even in 2022, even though I maybe I didn't feel like it was authentic. I wanted to get the story. That's how I get to know people.
See, it's the thing. A lot of the people who do the podcast route, I'm not even gonna lie, they have so many catty female tendencies.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so, unlike your podcast or people who do podcasts about sports, where they're just having a conversation, they have this real like catty female argumentative type energy that they want to get into. And some of them have actually tried that and it failed miserably on Facebook. And it's crazy because after they fail at it, they're like, "Oh, come on my podcast." And I'm like, "I'm not giving you any views. I literally don't like you as a person." So
Chill. Look, even you saying that, I ain't gonna get into it because what happens is the wrong person. I'll get aggravated really quickly. So I don't want thinking that we spoke about them because we spoke for 2 hours and it was a good conversation. And I'll be damned if somebody take a 30-second clip and make it
but
about
see,
them.
it's not one person. Like this has happened like multiple times.
I can see that.
So it's not like, oh, I'm singling one person out. That was a consistent energy, not just from one person, because everybody was trying to be Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels is catty and has a feminine type energy with him. And if you go back to his past, you can kind of see where that comes from. Like if you look at his photos from his upbringing or how he is, or even how he talks, his mannerisms, everything like that. So it's a lot of people who kind of fit that type of thing and they were going that same route all at the same time.
For me, I always try to make it about the person, which is about like, if you ever see me on camera talk to somebody, it's conversational. I mean, like, it's not an interview. It's not necessarily about them. It's like we just talking about something. But if it's an interview, I don't be on camera. It's all about that person.
They'll try to get you on just to try to see your talking points. How do you feel about 50-50?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
and I'm
insane.
like, wait a minute. And then it doesn't matter really what you say. They have something they're going to say again. So it's like, what?
I would say with you though, you gotta be careful because of the following you have too. People will try to use that and then like try to gain that following base of tagging you and stuff like that too. So
right, so
you gotta protect that.
So that's why I was declining a lot of podcasts because for some reason that was just the energy that was going on. I'm like, look, I'm not just because you kick up dust and you being negative and you're saying all these things. I'm not gonna feed into your views.
See, it wasn't that bad. See, we ain't no catty stuff. We just talk about cars and your life. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, it's probably best that I didn't really mess with those podcasts because
100%.
they were gonna have to edit it out for sure.
But I always say timing is everything. I feel like I know you more now. Not 100% of course, but just seeing you do a podcast, talking to you, just in passing, hearing it. Like I feel like I know you more now. So my question is a little different now. As before, maybe would have said, hey, why are you doing oil changes in panties? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what make you think I just do oil changes?
And then we going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm like, no, I'm more versed. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, oh, so is that what you think I do?
See?
Like, and then I'm one of those people. I'm sorry, I'm not like very trusting of people. So I'm already listening. Like my ears already listening. Like say something crazy. Like I'm gonna be like, oh really? Oil changes? Is that? Can you change it? When's the last time you changed your oil? Matter of fact,
last week.
What interval should you change your oil? And I know, and they may say something. I said, see, that's where we, that's why we separate.
See, you are argumentative. See, I knew it. But yeah, I do think timing was a key thing. And then, like I said, doing it back then and then doing it now, where you 4 years in and you kind of well versed and stuff. It's like, but I was able to watch as time went on. And as you watch, you kind of get to have somebody character development of who they are and whether what's just social media, what's funny. And like I said, I read your stuff differently now. So it was a time I was like, oh God, this girl here, she just don't stop.
Now, sometimes I am serious, like, but for the most part, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna roast you, bro. Like, don't say nothing about LeBron, don't say nothing about Nicki Minaj, don't say certain times.
That's funny. But yeah, that's what I like, though. I like that. But yeah, this was dope. I think it was informative too. I got some good clips in there too that I want to put out. My goal is to try to edit tonight more than likely. I don't want to put it out Sunday more likely, but I like to edit it. I'll send it to you early so you can watch it if you want to. So.
I got a question. How long does it take you to edit a video?
Not long at all.
That's crazy because for me to make a reel, that's gonna take an hour.
Nah.
I'm not too, depending on how much went in.
I might go to Waffle House after this. So, but after that, I go home. Not long. I'm telling you.
That's another thing, man.
I don't play.
It was one video. It took me so long because I think it was in that transmission because I was trying to get so many different. I had basically clips for every part that I
You
put
doing it on
in.
your phone?
Yes.
Now, it's gonna take longer on your phone because your phone doing so many different things too. Um, but it's gonna be hard regardless. I would say if you can record it just one time, but it's hard to do that sometimes too. I know.
Because it'll be so
You can just
long.
chop it up, but
Because
then you risk the fact that it stopped recording because of memory and stuff too. So, and that's going to be a
that
killer.
would kill me.
Yeah.
And you gotta think the repairs I'm doing on paper, like if I go to Identifix estimated, they're saying 43 hours, 28 hours. So these are not any like short repairs. Come on, it's only 24 hours in a day, but the repair supposed to take 43. Like,
Look, you got the bad. You got to get you a camera and get you a laptop, and you get to go. This one you get off. You could just go ahead and go.
yeah, should I get a MacBook or PC?
MacBook.
Okay.
It's a MacBook.
I
I'm
about to say
telling
I
you.
don't even want no PC.
You be done. PC piece of yeah,
I ain't doing.
don't
I'm
get it.
look Apple products all the way.
PC it would be a Nissan, I guess. So
Ooh. Ooh.
get you a MacBook and you be good to go though. Seriously though, man. Yeah.
Do you have like special like apps or software you use, or it just?
I use it's right here, matter of fact. Final Cut Pro. iMovie is cool too though. Like it's easy to chop up on iMovie. So if I when I make the video, make your video, I'm making it on Final Cut Pro. I'm gonna color it, do all that stuff I gotta do, boom, 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 put it out there with the title, right? Once the video is made, I chop it up using iMovie. It's easier for me to make clips on iMovie.
I was like, I gotta start making stuff on YouTube because in my phone, like when people see a reel, I think I showed my followers this one time because I was like, oh, you didn't do the work, you just got in the frame. And it was like so many, like maybe like 100 clips in the thing. I'm like, so when I make a reel for y'all, I went through all these, picked that, and then compressed it for it to fit. Because at the time, I remember reels was only could be a minute. So now they made it 3. And I'm like, where was this?
On Instagram you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, where was this? You know how hard it is to put a head gasket in one? I'm like,
you gotta see what parts you want to take out, parts you want to put in.
I'm like, it's a 15-hour repair, and I'm showing you in a minute. And then some idiot will be like, you didn't show us this. I have a minute.
Yeah, you ain't got that long.
I have a minute.
But you should probably put some of the stuff on YouTube. I know the reels is where you make the money and the stuff social media, but the YouTube, the full length joints, I know it probably don't seem like it, but the long ball game.
But see, this is my thing, the orientation, because YouTube is more like a landscape orientation.
Yeah.
And usually for real, it's for portrait. I'm like, that's the only thing I hang. I'm like, how will I got a GoPro in there.
I mean, you might have to link up with somebody that actually that actually like do filming, like that kind of filming, just because they might can help you more than you think. Like they might say, well, as long as you got the clips, I can do it for you. It's not what you need, but you so hands on. You know how you are. You want to do everything, so you too hands on.
No, that's the only part I have. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to edit this before the game. Like I'm trying to.
Yeah, people will do it. They'll do it.
Yeah, if I find somebody like that, because I'm like, people don't understand. Like to make a reel, like I've had reels take me an hour and a half to do, 2 hours to edit, and then someone's like, oh well, this. I'm like, it's already taking an hour and a half, 2 hours for me to edit just my clips. How do you think I'm gonna edit having a guy do the work, then I come in the frame and then come back out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But people, they ain't gonna believe. That is what it is. Especially that's why you need the full version. They'll really, I guarantee you, a hater is gonna watch that full version, and they won't say nothing else.
I might do a live teardown.
Do that.
Like engine on the stand. Oh, I'll go crazy on a teardown. Cause that Milwaukee, what engine? Oh, that Mercedes engine. I took hundreds of bolts on that. Hundreds. No exaggeration. Like I tried to organize, like with the cardboard, tried to organize. I gave up on the engine. Everything was going in bags because it was just that many bolts.
Damn.
So, and people are like, oh, Milwaukee's never died. My Milwaukee died so many times. I have 2 batteries. I was swapping them out. Just.
I have heard that about them. Yeah.
They're like, oh, they never die. I'm like, you're not using them enough. You're not using them enough. That's the only reason they don't die. I promise you. But,
before we go, what's that on your hand right there? What's that tattoo?
Right here?
Like a wrench.
It is a wrench.
I guess I would ask what it stand for. What made you get on your hand? Why you got that?
Because I was like, man, I'm wrenching. I was like, let me get a wrench set. And so I ended up getting it. I might get it like revamped, but yeah.
Okay, it just came to my mind. I don't know. I'm just looking at you now, so I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, I'm gonna get like my E36 BMW like face right here.
You want to get a tattoo on your face?
No, like the face of
I'm
the
asking.
front
Are
of
you
it.
gonna get one on your face?
Of course not. It gotta be right here. I'm against face tattoos.
Me too. I'm
I'm
the same
like,
way.
it's so much space on your whole body,
Yeah.
and then you gonna go in the face.
That's how they do, man. Look, man, this was dope. I appreciate you coming through the podcast, man. This was dope. I really liked it, though. I know I learned a lot. I think people gonna get to know more of you from what I've seen and other things you did. So I try to be different than what everybody else was doing too. So I try to stand out. That's my goal every time I'm doing a podcast. So I definitely appreciate you coming through. Funny, entertaining, argumentative, Gemini. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, man. I wish you nothing but success going forward.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
you as well, Mr. SBA Podcast of the Year reigning
I try,
champion.
2 years in a row, no big deal. But yeah.
Oh,
one
2
of my-
years.
yeah.
You said 2 years on y'all.
It's right behind you too. It's right behind you. The award.
Oh, he
Yeah, a little.
got the podcast Grammys.
Yeah, that's me being funny. I'll be like, because people became by that stuff a lot. They really be mad that they don't win, so I just put in a video every time.
Yeah, I
now.
made a post about that, and Q thought I was talking about her, and I was like, no, I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I seen y'all go back
I'm
and
like,
forth. That was
look,
funny.
I'm telling them to let y'all enjoy y'all thing and stop messing with these people. If your
Yeah.
friends ain't vote, they ain't vote for you.
Hey man,
I'm never gonna probably win Best Mechanic of the Year. Ask me, do I care?
you don't.
Yeah, because if you got an Audi, you got a Land Rover, let me take it to your Mechanic of the Year, and I promise you, he gonna
I
fall.
feel like the awards don't do nothing, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me regardless. If I get the award, cool, but it ain't gonna stop what I'm doing. You know, I ain't going harder because I got an award. I'm gonna go hard because I go hard.
I gotta look at
You
it.
know what I'm saying? I just put in the video to be an asshole. That's what I like to do. I just, tease them.
It's probably some people who present like, look at him with his award.
Yep.
That should have been me up there. Like, it's probably somebody looking at you and you just smiling
I
and
told
they're
them,
like,
hey, look, go get you one. It's mad award shops around this motherfucker. Go make
the
your own
dude,
award.
I think I roasted him. Matter of fact, the lady who Barbie baby, what's up? She had commented and I was like, look, I know that's how y'all do your thing, but you know,
Yeah, Jamie.
yeah, y'all let a mechanic win an award and he won't even put the girl's new rotor on her car. He giving her from the junkyard. So you gotta. She's like, what do you suggest I do? I was like, well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get an I-team. You like, you have to.
You could probably if you ask that, hey, y'all vote for me, you could win because you have the most votes because you got all the followers.
Man, people do not like me like that. Like I
I mean,
think
from here, maybe I don't know because they might not know you, but
yeah.
on the internet,
But see, Q, she asked a question, but I missed it because I rewatched it and I was like, oh man, I didn't really ask her a question. She asked me why do I think that like my following, like it doesn't carry over into my normal Facebook, and because I'm a Facebook villain.
yeah, you are.
I'm a
Definitely.
villain. What you mean?
I mentioned you have 4 years of knowledge. You got 4 years of also being a faithful villain. Probably
20
more.
I think my hardest year was 2016.
See, I didn't even know you then. So
See, I'm an OG. When Mark used to take your page, deactivate, you had to go on your backup page and post. And yeah,
you used to have two. You had a bunch of pages, didn't you? You had a bunch of them.
I had to keep making backups because Mark was like, you doing too much. You current.
See, every time you talk, you answer my question about the argumentative thing. So I'm good. I just know. Mark know. I know. So we all good. Everybody knows. Just
Don't
leave
start
Layla
no
alone.
be none though.